Absolutely, Amanda, and we are broadcasting live from Altamont, Kansas, on the footprint of Labette County High School, risen just above Lucas Field to the west side. It's Jack Leake and John Kohler with you for week number 3 of Southeast Kansas football. Labette County plays host to the Purple Dragons from Pittsburgh. John, we'll go ahead and dive right into tonight's Tank Connection pregame show. John, this is a Labette County team that has never beaten their foe of tonight, Pittsburgh. John, you were even a part of a few of those Pittsburgh losses over the history of Labette County football. Walk me through how something just hasn't fallen Labette County's way when playing a team so high in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, at least when I was there, they just had a good run of talent. You know, they had Dylan Jordan, who went to TCU. They had a couple other guys who went on to play college ball. So, when I was there, it was more of a talent thing. They're always just so much bigger, stronger, and faster than you were. But
yeah.
I don't think that's the case this year, Jack. You know, I think we've always been better than them skills-wise, our receivers and stuff. We've just been so outmatched in the trenches that it hasn't really mattered if we're better than them out there. And I think this year, with this group, I think we match up the best with them this year. If we're going to beat them, it's going to be this year, right? Because our size is there finally. And we may be able to actually move the ball consistently this time instead of those chunk plays we've seen over the past couple of years.
It's definitely anticipated to be the best chance Labette County's had to finally behead those Purple Dragons for the first time in a long time. It feels different as we're going to go ahead and take a look back at last year's game at Pittsburgh, where Labette County fell just by 8 points. The final score read Pittsburgh 28, Labette County 20. John, I remember that so vividly. That game was tied going into the locker room, halftime, last year. Kendall Holtzman teed it up to Griffin Eaton as the buzzer sounded, and then Labette converted on the 2-point try to tie it at halftime, and boy, were we jolly on the air. We were so happy, and then it was just kind of a slow bleed, and we're going to talk about our opponent, Pittsburgh, later, but man, do they run as fast as you can, sometimes slowly, but man, they run a lot, John. Very rarely do they pass the ball. In that game last year at Pittsburgh, Kendall Holtzman, our senior quarterback this season, was a junior last year, needless to say, threw the ball 30 times and completed 22 of those for just under 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. John, we said this before the Circle game a couple weeks ago in this same press box. We do not return a receiver who caught a ball last year at Pittsburgh. So this is a whole new arsenal of weapons that Pittsburgh is going to be lining up with on the offensive side for Labette.
Yeah, and I think one thing we're lacking in the weapons department is a true deep threat. We had Trey Vincent last year and Matthew Boyle could really turn on the burners, and this year we haven't really seen that as much. We've seen the 50-50 balls with Xavier Phillips and Nolan Nash down the field, but we haven't had a true burner, a true deep threat. So I think that's something that Coach Argerbright, Coach Price have to game plan for, knowing, hey, we don't really have a burner on the outside who's going to go beat a guy one-on-one down the field. So that's something Pittsburgh, I'm sure they've seen on film so far, so I'm sure they're going to bring the safeties up more and they're going to start load the box more, which is going to make it more difficult for us to move the ball consistently.
You're listening to the Tank Connection pregame show of Labette County Grizzly football. Please stay around if you're on YouTube Live or on 106.7 KLKC Parsons. We have much in store for you. Kickoff is at 7, so we have a jam-packed another 25 minutes of the Tank Connection pregame show. We have an interview with head coach Sean Price. Chet Copeland interviewed him. We're going to take a look back at the Parsons game last week in Viking country. We sat down with sophomore running back Jamal Jackson of the Labette County Grizzlies, so stay tuned for that interview. We're going to preview those Purple Dragons that we're taking on tonight, and then John's going to give us our weather update, captains for the game, and then we'll take you right into kickoff. So much in store for the Tank Connection pregame show here this evening. And John, just before we send it back for that Coach Price interview, I'd like to touch a little bit on Pittsburgh's performance in the game last year. They return, we just got done talking about how Labette County doesn't really return those scoring options, at least from last year's game, but Pittsburgh returns their quarterback and running back. And boy, is that always nice at the high school level. Quarterback Webb Fern returns. He only threw the ball 6 times against Labette last year as they're a run-heavy team. But Wyatt Rink, their leading rusher in that game, ran for 140 yards on just 19 carries as they had 4 4, 5, 6 different rushers in that game last year. They run kind of a flex bone. Describe it to us a little bit, John.
So yeah, what they run a lot of is the wing T. You'll see a lot of high school teams run it, specifically El Dorado, who we've played over the past couple of years. Independence has run it in the past. I don't know if they do now. I know they have a new head coach. But a lot of local teams will run it. You'll see a lot of it across high school teams, all the way apart. We haven't really seen a whole lot of it here in the SEK these past couple of years, but it's sort of made a resurgence as it's once you get the plays down, it's really simple to run. You just pound it, and eventually it forces the defense, to stay home. It forces the defense to do their job every play. Because if you don't do the job one time, then you get those big chunk plays that we saw last year.
Definitely an old-fashioned ground and pound approach from second-year head coach Josh Latimer. At this time, we're going to send it back to Amanda at the station to run Chet Coupland's interview with head coach of the Grizzlies, Sean Price. Last week, Labette County traveled up north about 10 miles to take on their rival, the Vikings, for the second time in the renewed rivalry, as we are calling it, here in the small town of Altamont, Kansas. Labette County fell to Parsons 24-13. As we welcome you back, Grizzly fans, to the Tank Connection pregame show, Jack Leake and John Kohler, we're going to dive into that matchup. Labette fell 24-13. John, at halftime, that game was 7-7. And we talked about it, and you kind of called it. You said if Labette County's offensive line and or defensive line, because they were showing cracks, to quote you, if they don't step it up, something's going to go awry, and it slowly did. Walk us through what you saw last Friday through your eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw the little things, like the push on the offensive line and the holes for Jamal last week in that first half. They just kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller as the game went on, as the fatigue started to set in. And towards halftime, I really don't think we should have been tied with Parsons at half.
It was really fortunate.
Yeah, it was definitely a fortunate situation with their turnovers and whatnot, but you could just tell, we're just outmatched physically, strength-wise up on that, O-line, D-line. Defensively, I don't think – I know Roper Whitley and a couple others got back there a couple times, but, they were getting consistent push on the pin-pull outside runs with Jamarion Washington. It was just every time with it. It was consistent. So eventually you get beat down enough, you just fall flat on your face, and that's what we saw in that fourth quarter. But, for the offensive line-wise last week, it's just – you just saw it just go on. Kendall was having less and less time as the game went on, and that pass rush of the Vikings started to set in. So I'm sure Coach Price and Coach Hurley went over with the O-line, kick steps, stuff like that to help them out better for this week. So
sure. As Kendall Holtzman went 9 for 18 in the air, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Definitely a night and day difference from his opening game, which can be realistic for Kendall, that explosive game he had at home against Circle, but definitely one that might be hard to reach as an average, and the game at Parsons definitely showed that a little, as he, 50% completion percentage. As I mentioned, those 2 interceptions stand out to me because that's where he's improved so much in his game. I feel like he's gotten so much wiser in where he throws the football for sure. But a bright spot for Labette County was mainly early on. As you said, it got kind of worse and worse, but Jamal Jackson had himself a nice game. And stay tuned, as here in a couple minutes we're going to play an interview that I had with Jamal and his take on the Parsons game, his game, as well as the Pittsburgh contest tonight. So stay tuned. Still much more on the Tank Connection pregame show to come, 16 minutes until kickoff. But Jamal ran the ball 24 times. A lot of volume for the sophomore. 116 yards, 1 touchdown. That put them up 7-0. Jamal last year, John, ran for roughly 330 yards on the season. He split some carries with Chandler Henson, but this year he's already scratching that ceiling that he put in place for himself last year. Jamal really has, and last Friday looked really nice.
Yeah, I'm sure he knew he was going to get an increased role in this offense, with Chandler Henson transferring to Parsons. And so he put on some weight over the summer. I believe they have him listed at 170. He was probably $145 last year, so that's a good thing. But it's something you don't want to see as this, season goes on. These 25, 30 carry games. It's just injuries are going to eventually happen with those many touches. So it's something you really don't want to see. But Jamal has done a nice job with those touches he's gotten.
Yes,
he's been
absolutely.
very productive.
Xavier Phillips is someone who's been a mismatch for corners, at least in the early young season that Labette County has been able to perform in. Xavier only had 3 receptions at Parsons for 40 yards and a touchdown. One of those 3 receptions was a touchdown. One of the other 3 was a long catch, and I believe a flag afterwards for taunting on Parsons, as Xavier can definitely mentally frustrate some of those D-backs for opposing teams. But only 3 receptions, so we'd like to see Xavier get a few more targets. But boy, Kendall does have a lot to choose from. But tonight, before we send it to the Jamal Jackson interview, Labette will be without Nolan Nash. Standout, stud freshman, big-time game against Circle. Was a little quiet at Parsons, 2 catches for 20 yards. But they're going to miss Nolan, and 2 contrasting offenses, a spread offense for Labette and a double wing, flex, whatever, wing tee, run it down your throat, Pittsburgh team. It's going to be fun. Before we dive deeper into the Tank Connection pregame show, we're going to send it back to the station for a pregame interview with Jamal Jackson, sophomore running back for Labette County. As part of this week's player interview in the Tank Connection pregame show, we welcome to the microphone sophomore running back for the LC Grizzlies, Jamal Jackson. Jamal, thanks for joining me. I'll go ahead and get right into it. So, Jamal, last Friday, obviously not the outcome that you guys in the locker room or Grizzly Nation was hoping for as we fell to Parsons 24-13. But, Jamal, you had yourself a really nice game on the ground, pretty much running for half the yardage that you ran for all last season, even finding the end zone once last Friday, over 100 yards, as I mentioned. You just looked really crisp out there off the jump, getting it from Kendall in the shotgun. So what went well for you last Friday in Parsons?
I mean, I really think that our inside run game was a key role in the game, and because our O-line could really just open up the holes and get us down the field.
Yeah.
And Kendall Holtzman had some really good reads and throws.
And Cade Brown, not to cut you off, Jamal, is a big part of that Parsons defense and being recruited at the collegiate level. Was he a point of focus in the week approaching that Parsons game? Was he somebody that was on your mind last Friday?
Oh, yeah, he was definitely on my mind a little bit. I mean, I see him blitzing around the corner. He was always somebody I got to really watch. But our O-line did a great job blocking and making sure he wasn't a problem in my run game that game.
As Jamal, like I mentioned briefly a little bit earlier, you ran for mid-300 yards on the ground last season. As a freshman, Jamal, you're playing varsity, man, and now this year as a sophomore, you're going to well surpass that mark. May I ask what's changed? Whether it be the O-line is certainly more improved this year, your game, you look crisp. What do you feel like has just changed from last year to this year?
I really feel like we are doing a lot more runs, and as we're getting, more upcoming players to play on varsity, it's just really more key players to the game and allows us to run our run game more efficient and just get us down the field, really.
As I got to give you credit, as last week when I interviewed Kendall and we talked about his success, he gave credit to the O-line, and I pretty much ask you the same question, and you deflect and give credit to the O-line and the weapons, so very respectful players there in that Grizzly locker room. Jamal, after that Parsons game, did Coach Price touch on anything in the locker room afterwards, or even that Monday in practice? Did Coach hit on the Parsons game at all, or was it, hey, we're going to move on to the Pittsburgh game?
No, not really. Coach didn't really have anything to say about the game. Just put it behind you and work on the things that we need to work on for this next game against Pitt.
Does this game have a feeling to it of, okay, we can kind of let our shoulders sag, and I know you guys are a very tough team mentally for how young some of our positional players are, like yourself, very strong mentally. But is there a bit of relief that comes with the Parsons game just being over? It can feel exhausting, and I know you're not from around here, so it's different for you, but has there been a sense of relief that it's just over?
Yeah, a little bit. It does kind of feel good to just, put it in the past and work on what we got going for the rest of the season and the SEK title and all that. So, and the boys, they've got over it. Seems like they're pretty hyped for the next game and what we got going for the rest of the season.
That's so important, Jamal, to just rebound and move on. And I know our coaching staff and you guys are so good at that. Jamal, I don't always want to be or always mean to be serious, but I have always wanted to ask you, is there a particular player at the collegiate or professional level that you model your game after?
Oh, yeah, I model my game after Christian McCaffrey and Marshawn Lynch, really. This summer and this past season, I've been really critiquing how they move and what they really see out on the field and try to compare it to my game just to make myself better and try to be the best of the best.
As I'm sure my dad would love to hear that, as he has Christian McCaffrey on his fantasy team. But no, that's great. Fantastic player. And I see your legs on the ground, obviously, as well as your hands in the air. I see that reflection in the mirror quite a bit. But as Jamal, I know that you're someone who, obviously, you're just you were a freshman last year, but you're not from the area initially. You've only ever lost to Pittsburgh once. So does that change your mentality at all approaching this game?
No, not really. Last year, it was a good game. I mean, we were only down by a touchdown. We were really in that game. I mean,
it was tied at halftime, right?
Yeah, it was tied. It was 20-20 going into the half. But it all came down to that one play at the end. It really got us in 20-26 last year.
What was Coach Price's message, or the coaching staff in general, about Pittsburgh this week?
Just really to be disciplined and just do what we got to do and get the job done, because that's all that really matters at the end of the game is whoever did it the best. Just really got to stay on your toes and get your job done.
Absolutely, Jamal. Well, hey, go get those Purple Dragons. Best of luck on Friday. Any last words for Grizzly Nation?
Let's go get them, Grizzlies.
Amen to that. Jamal, thank you so much for joining us for our player interview and the Tank Connection pregame show. More of the pregame show will be up right after this. Welcome back, Grizzly fans, as I hope you enjoyed that sit-down with a stud running back and an even better young man, Jamal Jackson. Good head on his shoulders, as I'm sure you could tell within the confines of that interview, as I'm always blown away at how humble these kids are when you sit down with them, even off the field as well. 8 minutes and counting until kickoff, as Labette County has made their way onto Lucas Field, as they were joined by Labette County's junior high football squad, as we are about to have the national anthem here at Lucas Field, as it will be performed by the Labette County Band under the direction of Mike Wassenaar.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time,
here we go.
Please stand. Gentlemen, would you remove your hats as the LCHS Band plays our national anthem.
Beautifully played anthem there by the Labette County High School Band. 6 minutes, 15 seconds until kickoff. Labette County taking on the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons as we now make our way into the opponent preview portion of tonight's Tank Connection pregame show. John, this is a Pittsburgh team that started out the season red hot as they put it on the Emporia Spartans on the road, 54-28. And then, my, how the turntables, right? Pittsburgh was thumped by Chanute at home, 28-0. So then that kind of raises some eyebrows coming into tonight's game is, can Pittsburgh keep up with Labette's offense, and can Labette County keep up with Pittsburgh's defense? Tell me what you know about that Pitt defense.
Yeah, it's led by their All-State honorable mention defensive or linebacker Gabe Kimsey, and their senior linebacker Maverick Caswell. Kimsey had 70 tackles last year, 9 tackles at a loss, and the forced fumble. So he's going to be a force out there for sure. As 70 tackles high school football is a pretty good number, and 9 tackles for a loss, that's also a pretty good number. So expect him to be out there manning the Dragon defense.
Yeah, as Pittsburgh, boy, we were looking at that offense and defense. And, you know, you look at last year's game, John, as we wind down our pregame show to kick off here. You look at last year's game and you think, man, it was tied at half. They bring back pretty much everyone. We are a lot better than last year. We're at home, so we should win, right? Well, maybe not so fast, but I sure think we have a better chance. You go through all these things in your head, and then you look at Pittsburgh's roster. You have to dig hard to find an underclassman.
Yeah, it's definitely a veteran-led group with that unit out there. As you say, you know, we got our lineups right here in front of us, which thank you to the radio crew over at Pittsburgh for sending those. But, yeah, I mean, their starters and their backups are all juniors and seniors. I don't think we've played a team so far, or even the past couple years, where it's just been all seniors and juniors. So this is a very veteran squad within Josh Latimer's system that we're facing tonight.
Absolutely, as that is the head coach for the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons in his second year, Josh Latimer, as he definitely runs quite the taut ship, which I respect without question, as he quoted in the preseason football preview, the Southeast Kansas Football Guide. He said, "We are going to bring DAT, D-A-T, to the program. Discipline, accountability, and toughness." And I've even heard he sat a player out recently just for potential misbehaviors. And so, you know, this guy really has a buttoned-up program there in Pittsburgh, and he's building his program to what he wants it to look like, and those guys are buying in. As you mentioned earlier in the pregame show, they started last year 0-2. They win 7 straight and then shut out KC Sumner to win a regional title. Now, that is a team that buys into a head coach and vice versa. 3 minutes until kickoff. We are going to take one more 60-second timeout. Thank you for listening to tonight's Tank Connection pregame show, and when we return, John Kohler will close us out with our weather forecast for kickoff, captains of the game, and then that'll take us right up to the kick of the pigskin. We'll be back in 1 minute on KLKC Parsons.
Everybody is different. Some get injured, while others simply wear down. Whether it's on the court, on the field, or at the gym, Labette Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team has the training and skill to repair, restore, and renew. We share the same goal, and together we'll write your comeback story. For more information about Southeast Kansas' leading orthopedic and sports medicine team, go to labettehealth.com.
Labette County has won the kick and elected to receive the opening kick. 90 seconds until that will take place. I'm going to send it over to the color man, John Kohler, for tonight's weather forecast and team captains.
Yeah, tonight at Lucas Field, you know, the captains for the Dragons tonight will be number 1, Webb Fern, the senior quarterback and linebacker. Number 2, Grant O'Doherty, I should say, the senior running back and defensive back. Number 23, Wyatt Rink, another senior running back and linebacker. And I believe I'm finding number 73, Aiden Davis, and number 75, Treeman Wesley. For your Grizzlies tonight is number 4, Kagan Bates, number 12, Kendall Holtzman, number 75, Lane Simmons, and number 76, Chris Stevens. Weather tonight at Lucas Field is we have a 77-degree temperature with a 3-mile-an-hour southerly wind, 35% humidity. Sunset's going to set about halfway through the first half tonight, and we should have a nice nice ball game tonight with with the weather.
Thank you for that, John. Is certainly beautiful weather for football. Week number 3, Labette County hosting Pittsburgh, a team in which they have never beaten in the history of Labette County football, looking to do so tonight. Pittsburgh wearing purple helmets with a white P in the middle of each side. White tops, silver pants with purple numbers. Labette County in their home reds with gold trim, red helmets, and gold numbers on both sides. Back deep to return for Labette County, Lawrence Holt and Barrett Heston. Their heels are buried in the soil at the 5-yard line. Back deep to kick for Pittsburgh, number 10, Jaden Brown, the sophomore. Raises his right hand in the air. The whistle is blown, teed up at midfield at the 40-yard line, and we are underway from Altamont, Kansas. A good kick. Labette County played against a good kicker in Parsons last week. Here's Jamal all the way out to the 30, or pardon me, that's Lawrence Holt. Nearly gets to the 35-yard line, and that's where Labette will set up shop at the 34-yard line.
I think, Jack, that may have been the most well-blocked kick return I've seen from this Grizzly unit over the past couple of years. I mean, that was a nice hole Lawrence found to get up to the 35-yard line. I think that's our best starting field position so far off a return as well. So good signs from this Grizzly team.
Possession number 1 of the night. This is a pivotal game for Labette. You either go to Wellington next week 2-1 or 1-2. It is as simple as that. 1st and 10 at their own 34-yard line. Jamal Jackson the back off of a 115-yard game on the road. Kendall takes the snap. It's tipped in the air and intercepted. Pittsburgh's going to get it going towards the red zone and not getting there. Brought down at the 26 is the corner for the Purple Dragons, Connor Profit. Right place, right time, and boy, on play number 1, an interception is not what you want for Labette. It bounced right off of Kagan Bates' hands.
Yep, so what we had there was an RPO. Kendall made the right read. Linebacker crashed on the handoff, found Kagan wide open, and Kagan, just had a mental mistake there or something. I couldn't tell exactly what happened. It may not have been his fault, but bounced off his hands right into the arms of a Dragon defender.
Certainly not the way you want to start against a team like Pittsburgh, especially. Wyatt Rink is the running back. He's backed up by Stone Peary, a good runner as well. Quarterback is Webb Fern. Here's the snap. It's an option. Pitched out to the right side, and a first down is picked up by Connor Profit. That'll be 1st and 10 Pittsburgh at the Labette County 15-yard line.
Yeah, as you saw there with how fast those two move, Webb Fern and the running back out there. This team is dominant physically. And they're going to keep running that same play over and over again, left and right, and it's up to this Grizzly defense to put a stop to it.
1st and 10 Pittsburgh at the Labette County 16-yard line, to be specific. Same set, kind of a under center set for Fern. He'll take the snap and pitch it out to the left side, Maverick Caswell, and he will get down to the Labette County 5 as you know what to expect, but it's hard to stop.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Grizzlies start rolling a safety towards the side, with the wing that motions, which way he's rolling to try maybe to stop that pitch from getting much momentum going. As you've seen the safeties just kind of hang back, because that's their spot, off that pitch. They're the main guy that's going to be the one tackling them, so.
As you're not going to see Webb Fern throw the ball much. He only threw it, I believe, 6 or 7 times in last week's loss to Chanute. Here's a handoff up the middle, met at the line, is Wyatt Rink, and brought down by Labette County right at the line of scrimmage. Gain of maybe a yard. They're being generous for Wyatt Rink.
Yeah, you should fully expect them to just keep going dive, dive, dive right here. I don't think they'll risk it with the pitch this close to the goal line.
It is 2nd and goal from the 4. As definitely, whenever you run some of those options over and over, 1 out of every 50 are bound to maybe be mishandled and fumbled. So one of those hopefully might come here in a moment as we have a whistle before Pittsburgh can even get set, as it is going to be an illegal No, it's on Pittsburgh. I'm not sure what that signal was. Illegal substitution, okay, not shift. Illegal sub on Pittsburgh.
I don't think I've ever seen that called in a high school football game. So, way to make your name known, Mr. White Hat.
You can cross that off your bingo card this evening. Illegal sub. 10 minutes to go, first quarter. Pittsburgh with the ball after a Kendall Holtzman tipped pass and then intercepted on the first play of the game for Labette. Here is the snap, and it's a pitch left side. Down to the 5, inside of that to the 4 is the ball carrier, Connor Profit, getting a few touches early, as I believe he's the one who intercepted Kendall on that opening play.
Yeah, and those are turnovers you can't have when you play Pittsburgh. You know, it's kind of reminiscent of the games we've played against in the past couple years outside of last year. You know, those quick turnovers that lead to easy points for Pittsburgh. I know that's something Price has stretched this week as. I kind of want to talk about Tatum Claiborne there, as he made a nice hustle over to make that tackle, which he's someone that's really come on these past couple weeks for that linebacking core.
3 seniors and 2 juniors on the Pittsburgh offensive line. 3rd down and goal from the 4. Here's a snap, fake pitch to the left. It's a pass. He'll fling it tip high in the air by Hudson Baker. Almost intercepted. Almost intercepted. Hudson Baker and his long, tall body almost created a Labette interception. Is trying to get underneath the pigskin was Cole Stevens, but Labette County holding their ground, and boy, would it be big. Nice deflection, Hudson Baker.
Yes, Fern had a man wide open in the end zone, and that 6'8" lanky frame of Hudson Baker came into play there, as that's someone whose name we haven't really called these past couple weeks, so maybe this is what he needed to get going.
Pittsburgh in the same set. Wing T underneath. Fern takes the snap. It's 4th down and goal. He'll keep it, try to drive, try to reach out, and fumbles, but they're going to say touchdown before he lost it. As, boy, that was about a half a yard from either being down or a fumble into the end zone. But regardless, touchdown Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh fashion. They're just going to run it, and run it. 6-0, Purple Dragons, 8:50, first quarter.
Yep, and there's not really any debate in that cause. It was a pretty clean touchdown by Fern there. But we did get good penetration there, and I think if we had, kind of shouldered him on more instead of wrapped him up, I guess I should say, we may have had a chance to have gotten a stop.
He was hit about the 3.5-yard line and then just continued to go. Here's a bit of a awkward set. The offensive line is to the left side of the field, and Pittsburgh's just going to throw it in very easily. Grant O'Doherty was wide open on the right side of the end zone. Labette County caught off guard there. 8-0 Pittsburgh here early from Altamont off an early interception thrown by Labette. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is Grizzly Football.
My name is Bria, and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
Brown's kick is returned by Lawrence Holt. Another nice return for the junior. Out to the Labette 34-35 is where they're going to mark it, I believe. So pretty much the exact same field position for Holtzman and company on drive number 2 of the game. John, drive number 1 did not go how Labette intended.
No, it definitely didn't with that mental error on Kagan Bates' hands, which he's still a young guy. I know we talk about him a lot. He's a captain. But he's also a sophomore, so he hasn't played a lot of varsity football. I know he started all of the games last year, but he's still new to it, and that's just something that's going to happen. He's going to have a couple of mistakes. But right read and everything just didn't go the way we wanted it to.
Lawrence Holt put in motion from the right side. Here's the snap, a fake to him. Holtzman keeps it up the middle. Nice little alley for Kendall. He'll cut back to the 40, fall forward to the 41, and a nice gain of a long 5, maybe a short 6 for Kendall Holtzman.
Well, Jack, did we see a little bit of ball carrier vision from Kendall there? As he
Bounced it outside.
I don't think I've ever seen him do that. Hit a little spin move. I think Kendall woke up feeling dangerous today.
He must have, and he's back with a vengeance after that interception that he probably doesn't feel like he threw, as it kind of just got tipped in the air by the receiver and picked off. 2nd and 5. Labette tries to overcome. Here's Jamal up the left middle region on a toss play to the far side. Gains about half a yard if they're generous. Yes, they are. 3rd down and 4 for Labette County.
Well, Kendall's 1 of 2 passing now, as I think that one was a forward pass. So
okay.
Mark that one down. I know, Jack. I just saw it, so I thought I should say it. But, yeah. As that was just a simple toss play, made a read, just didn't get much on it.
Ball right in the middle of the field. A high snap for Kendall, pressured, flings it to Holt. He has to beat his man, and he does! Holt gets the first down, is hit by a host of Purple Dragons, and is brought down across the Grizzly 45, and that'll move the chains for LC.
Well, talk about improving there, as no one was ready for the snap. You could just tell from the receivers they weren't expecting it. Kendall smartly just tosses out to wide open Lawrence Holt there, and he just made a couple guys miss and got the first down. So great awareness by Kendall to just get the ball out there.
This is an offense that is operating without freshman Nolan Nash, wearing a compression sleeve on his left knee as Pittsburgh jumps off sides. That's going to be 5 yards for Labette as Kendall got him with the fake clap. That was about as dummy terminology as I could have used. John, tell me what it's actually called.
It's called freeze.
Freeze.
So actually, I probably shouldn't say it on air. That's insider information, what they call it at the line of scrimmage. I shouldn't say it, but it's freeze. It's just everyone stops, something they signal in. So
7 minutes, 16 seconds, first quarter. Pittsburgh 8, Labette County 0. 1st down and 5 for the Grizzlies into Pittsburgh territory. It's a drop back. Kendall's going to fling it deep left side, intercepted. Picked off. Connor Profit, 2nd interception of the game. He turned into the receiver. He's still on his feet, is Profit. Across midfield to the Grizzly 40 and tumbled down to the 37-yard line. 2 interceptions thrown by Kendall Holtzman on the first 2 possessions for the Grizzlies. There is a flag. It is probably during the return, as in the interception, so it will probably stay Pittsburgh football unless the flag was thrown early, and I don't think it was.
Yeah, I just think Lawrence Holt's a young guy. He hasn't played a lot of receiver. That one was a fade route. He didn't get outside the corner, so where Kendall put the ball is where Lawrence is supposed to be, but he was inside the corner there. And so it was an easy pick for the defender there, as he didn't really, stem to the outside on the fade route. Just unfortunate,
Yeah.
is just how it was, which I want to say part of that's on Kendall too. I don't like tossing a lot of blame around to people, but he should, he shouldn't just, take that step back and just throw it and hope he's on the outside of him. He should look and see where his receiver is before he makes the throw.
As we have offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties on both teams, one on either squad. So it'll just paste the ball right where it was going to be. 1st and 10 Pittsburgh at the Grizzly 39-yard line. Ball is on the right hash. Pittsburgh in perfect field position yet again. 6:58 opening quarter.
Yeah, turnovers early on. We talked about how they've taken care of the ball so well through these first 2 games. Tonight we already got 2 in the first quarter, so it's something I'm sure that's going to change with the play calling, being a little bit less aggressive and maintaining possession of the ball. Because this defense, we don't want them out there forever. They're going to get gas tired, and holes are going to start to show.
We'll see what Pittsburgh can do. Under center again for Fern. The senior quarterback takes the snap. It's on the ground, and I'm not sure. Oh, he picked it up, and he throws it to the right side.
Defense.
It looked like he fumbled the snap as it was intended for Maverick Caswell. Excuse me, Grizzly Nation, from my angle, it looked like he kind of lost the snap on the ground.
I believe he did, Jack, and good job by Kagan staying with his guy to the whistle. As he was there to make a great play on the ball and just kind of swat it out of his hands. Nice play by the sophomore safety.
2nd and 10 Pittsburgh. 6:50 is stopped on the clock. Another whistle, and they're going to have to reset the play clock. And they do, and run it. 40 seconds and counting. for the play clock. Kagan Bates, the lone safety. Pittsburgh in the wing tee. Here's the snap, and it's a give up the middle, and ripped to the ground for the Purple Dragons is Wyatt Rink, and a flag on the far side of the field. What'd you see, John?
That's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct on the Dragons, number 79, Nate Mitchell. Kept going a little bit too late after the whistle and just threw a Grizzly defender there, as I believe it was not Roper Whitley who was out there. I think it was Bradley Black got on the wrong end of that one. As I don't think it was malicious in intent. It's just something you can't do after the whistle.
As they're just now,
Oh,
are they going to step off the penalty, or did Labette decline?
Did they pick it up? I think they may.
They had to have picked up the penalty. 3rd down and 7 for Pittsburgh. Just inside the right hash is the football. Pittsburgh working the field right to left. Labette County has turned the ball over on both of their opening possessions. Pittsburgh 8, Labette County 0. Same set, flex bone for Pittsburgh. Here's an option to the left side. It's fumbled and then picked up by Caswell. And that's a loss of about 1, 4th and 8 for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so I kind of see what we're doing now with the motion. We're bumping out the outside backer on the side where he's motioning to, try to get the edge on him, so he can't bounce it outside and let your reinforcements from the inside try and get him. As we saw there, with the miscommunication or the drop toss or whatever, and Grizzlies hustling over. So
the Labette defense can pay back the Grizzly offense a favor here. 4th and 7, they say. 6 minutes and counting, opening quarter. Here's the snap. It's a pass. Fern pressured from the front. Adjust. Fires. And it's intercepted. Roper Whitley with the pick. Across the 40. Pushed out of bounds to the 41. 1st and 10. Grizzly defense gets the interception.
Well, I don't think I'd ever see the day I saw Roper Whitley get an interception, but today is the day. As what a play by the junior linebacker there, as he just kind of stepped in, in front of Fern's window and just made the play on the ball. So a nice play by the junior linebacker.
As Labette would have had the ball had that just been incomplete at the 39, but Roper got it out to the 41, and I don't say that jokingly, as if it would have been a turnover on downs compared to an interception, the momentum wouldn't have been as great. So Roper with that interception definitely helps with momentum. Here's Holtzman and company. A snap, a run. Jackson punches it to the right side, and a nice run for Jamal. 6 yards on the opening carry of drive number 3.
You know what? I think this offensive line has, been grown tired of being the punching bag, and I think what we saw there is them being the ones throwing the punches, as
good.
there's a pretty good push there up front.
As there are 3 seniors and a junior on that Pitt defensive line. As we mentioned in the Tank Connection pregame show, it's hard to find an underclassman on the starting 22 for Pittsburgh High. 5 minutes, first quarter. Been a long one for Labette. Here's Jamal, gets by a couple in the backfield and then is brought down for a loss of a couple on the carry. 3rd down and mid coming up for Labette County at the 45-yard line of their own.
Yeah, I don't think that one was the O-line's fault there. I think they blitzed number 17 for them. Maverick Caswell off the edge, the linebacker. He just found home with Jamal there. So overall, I don't think the O-line's played bad so far. I think they've done a pretty good job.
Caswell had 85 tackles last year. Stand out for them alongside Gabe Kimsey. An all-state honorable mention on that Pitt defense. They return. Here's the snap, a big 3rd down. It's a little hook caught by Bates. He's going to have to lean forward and can't get it. 4th down and a long 2 coming up for the Grizzlies. Maybe 4th and 3. It's going to be 4th and 3 for Labette County near midfield.
I think it's more of a 2. I think you're looking at, and we're setting the punt team on, which I thought was going to be an interesting decision. Early on, we got a quick stop, so I don't mind it. Our defense is holding so far.
Right, and I think that's Coach Price's thought process is, you punt, hopefully get them inside the 25 or so, go 3 and out, and then maybe you get 1st and 10 from near midfield. So a very reasonable thought process from the Grizzly coaching staff is, who are we to judge anyways? It's Jones, Landon Jones, back to punt, not pressured, gets away a high wobbler that lands about the 33, trickles down near the 30, So right around where we predicted Pittsburgh would be. Landon puts him right there. Nice job from Jones, the punter. Pittsburgh offense trickles onto the field for another crack at it. They lead Labette 8-0, 3:28 opening quarter. A few sponsors we would like to thank for making tonight's broadcast possible. Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clemens Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Commercial Bank, and Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Pittsburgh ready to rock for another offensive series. Again, moving right to left with the south wind at their back. As there's an early flag, but the play keeps going, and another flag flies in as the ball carrier's brought down, Caswell it is, near the line of scrimmage. We'll see who these two penalties are on.
So, Jack, I think we got a holding and either a false start or an illegal motion before the snap, as that flag came out right as soon as the play started. Another one came right after it. So it's either going to be one of those two, which I think if you're the Grizzlies, you're going to take that holding call.
Absolutely. As, this is a Pittsburgh team where it isn't disrespect to them, as, a lot of offenses, especially if you have film, are predictable. But Pittsburgh in particular, you don't ever know where the ball's going to go. Yeah. It's kind of like a Nebraska Kearney if you watch Division II with T.J. Davis, their quarterback, Ravens and Lamar Jackson. I mean, they run some funky sets with multiple backs and motions and options and pitches, but sometimes it's hard to predict where that ball is going to be tossed. And it's an illegal shift on Pittsburgh.
I guess
It was an illegal shift and a holding, and Labette declined the shift and accepted the hold. So it'll be 1st and 20 for Pitt at their own 24.
Which I think this Pittsburgh offense, as they learn the playbook, I think they've added more on it, because I don't think we saw the motion that we've seen from them tonight that we saw last year. So it's something that's definitely evolving within Latimer's offense.
Nolan Arity in single coverage on the outside, and he might be tested. It's a pass over the top and over the head of a wide-open Maverick Caswell. As if that would have been dropped in the basket, he would have been gone, and it would be touchdown Pittsburgh. But it was overthrown by about a yard. 2nd and 20 for Pittsburgh, 3:15 first quarter.
As usually stout coverage, unit from the Grizzlies. It's not very on point, that play, as he had two options there. He had an outside hitch to his, which I think was going to be his check down, and then that route, which he kind of just blew by Barrett Heston. Something to look out for and tighten up if you're the Grizzlies.
Ball's on the right hash, man in motion around the back end of Fern. Here's a snap, and it's given to Caswell, the man in motion, and that's a nice run for Caswell, as he's going to get past the original line of scrimmage and then some. It's going to be 3rd and very manageable for Fern and company. That's hard to say. 3rd down and 8 for Pittsburgh.
Something I'm noticing is that there's a lot of substitution going on with this Dragon offense, as they do have a lot of juniors and seniors. I think Latimer, that principles he's been implementing, I think it's something he's really trusted with his junior and senior leaders on this team.
5 down linemen for Labette, 3rd and 8. Here's a run up the gut, and it's met. A gain of 2 is all that it is for Pittsburgh. Hudson Baker in there on the efforts alongside Tayton Claiborne, as it is going to be a 3-and-out, assuming Pittsburgh punts.
I don't think they'll punt, Jack. I really don't. I don't think they're afraid of our offense, I should say, as I don't.
Wow.
I know that's kind of harsh to say, but if you're Latimer, what has he seen from us so far that scares him? They went for it 4th and 6 on the 40-yard line, our 40-yard line. So,
as Coach Latimer may indeed want to think about it just a little bit, and we'll let you sit back and think a little as well, Grizzly Nation. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is Grizzly Football.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the 4-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
4th down and 6 for the Purple Dragons, and they are indeed going to punt it away. Jaden Brown is on to punt, the sophomore. Cleats in the grass at his own 23. Back to receive for the Grizzlies, Lawrence Holt, the junior. He's had 2 great kickoff returns for the Grizzlies here early. The opening one and then the one after Pittsburgh scored. Labette County's not going to rush too many. Brown gets it away. Left-legged punt is going to land about the 33, take a neutral bounce, and then trickle forward to the Grizzly 28. And that's where Kendall Holtzman will trot onto the field and set up shop. This has been kind of a slower first quarter, John. It's 8-0 Pitt, and Labette's had the ball. Is this the 4th possession?
Yeah. I think this is 2 evenly matched football teams so far, Jake.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one team that's just been so much better than the other right now. I mean, the Grizzlies have had a couple explosive plays. The Pittsburgh has had a couple explosive plays. I think these are 2 evenly matched football teams. It's going to come down to, who wants it more. I really do think that's going to be the case.
This could be quite a low-scoring affair, somewhere in the 20-12 range or something of the sorts, as Labette can certainly pile on the points, and Pittsburgh can too, but the Dragons do it in a much slower manner. Holtzman in the gun, and here's a flag before the snap. It's a false start on Labette County, so it'll be 1st and 15 for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I think that one was on Kagan Bates, the lone receiver on that left side, as he just got kind of jumpy with that clap. So it's 2 mental errors tonight. Is something you can fix, but it's unfortunate to have happened twice. I'm sure he's a competitor. He's going to bounce back from it right away and come up with a big play. He's one of the playmakers on this team.
Lawrence Holt in single coverage at the bottom of your screen, or the bottom of the field if you're listening on the radio. Holtzman takes the snap, gives it to Jamal up the middle, and he's met in the backfield. Loss of 3 on the carry, 2nd and 18 coming up for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I don't think anyone touched number 60 of the Dragons, Andre Augustin, as he just flew right through that line and got right to Jamal. Which I believe we were trying to run some kind of outside stretch, which we saw earlier. They got some pretty good penetration on, so maybe try to avoid that call. I don't know. Maybe you have something that's working. You just need the blocking to be there.
Matthew Jarman trots off the field for Labette, leaving 5 down linemen, no extra tight ends. Here's the snap. Holtzman rolls out to his right and is sacked from behind. 3rd down and a country mile for the Grizzlies coming up momentarily, as that's a sack in the backfield for Trevor Pepper, 5'11 senior defensive lineman for Pittsburgh.
Well, Jack, I don't know what to say. I mean, I think this one's got O-line play has got to be better, and I don't want to sound negative, but for the Grizzlies to win and have consistent gains on offense, that O-line's really got to take a step forward.
As Grizzly Nation trying to egg on their offense, 40-second mark has been surpassed in the opening quarter. Pittsburgh 8, Labette County 0. Both teams have had numerous opportunities. Jamal to the right side and behind Kendall. Holtzman looks at his left wristband on his arm. 2 sweatbands on either wrist. And here's the handoff to Jackson into the secondary. Spun forward across the 20 near the 23. They'll mark it at the 22. 4th down and about 15 for Labette County coming, and Landon Jones will come on for another punt.
Yep, I love that play call. I don't think you had any shot of getting that 1st down. Nice little draw. Pittsburgh is just expecting you to throw it. Freed up some room for Jamal to let him explode through. Help set yourself up field position-wise for the defense.
That is the end of the first quarter from Lucas Field. Pittsburgh 8, Labette County 0. Not too many fireworks yet here in Altamont. Soon to come, though. We'll be back in 1 minute on KLKC Parsons.
V93.5 is your home for the best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today. Get your day started with the Anna and Raven Morning Show. You're the judge during couples court. Couples share their disagreement, and then you decide who's right. Think you know pop culture trivia? It could pay off, and you score the cash jackpot when you play Can't Beat Raven. Krause in the House gets you home every weekday afternoon starting at 2. Stream us anytime, anywhere at klkcradio.com.
Day & Zimmerman, one of the largest privately owned companies in the U.S. with operations across the country and internationally. We are comprised of multiple brands that put people to work, protect our freedoms, and improve the world. The Parsons, Kansas location has manufactured munitions for over 50 years for our country's warfighters. Day & Zimmerman has immediate openings for production operators starting at $18.02 an hour on our weekend crew. Work a 12-hour day shift Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and receive 40 hours of pay. We also offer competitive benefits. Apply today.
Looks like we have number 20 for Labette County.
Landon Jones back to punt at his own 15-yard line, so Pittsburgh, again, very well might set up shop inside Grizzly territory as they've had the ball, 5 times at least coming up, and they've had the ball on the Grizzlies side of the 50 4 of those 5 drives, or 3 of the 4, either one. Jones has the wind at his back. He punts a low one. It might actually work out well as it's going to roll, and almost picking it up is O'Doherty, but he'll let it go, and it is going to be down on the Pittsburgh 48, so Landon does a nice job of pinning Pittsburgh in their own side of the 50, but we do have a penalty flag back at the 25.
Looks like there is a flag on the play.
Oh.
Maybe I spoke too hastily.
Yeah, I don't know what that one's going to be. It would have to be on the punting team there.
Here's the call. Is that another unsportsmanlike? It is. It's on Pittsburgh. As, boy, there's been 3 of those called or so.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Lattimore is not at all happy about this. As we talked about the DAT principles he's been implementing, the discipline, accountability, and what's the other one?
Toughness.
Toughness.
D-A-T.
As you get in sportsmanlike conduct calls, that doesn't exemplify those. So I'm sure he's pretty furious with that one.
Landon punted from the 15, and it's 1st and 10 Pittsburgh at their own 33. Pittsburgh hurting themselves just a little bit here, as Labette's defense has been a stone wall for these Purple Dragons. Again, Labette County wearing their home reds with gold trim, red shiny helmets with a gold Grizzly split face on either side. Pittsburgh on their road whites with purple helmets, silver pants, and a white P signalizing Pittsburgh on either side of their helmets, as the referee is having a talk with Pittsburgh center Aiden Davis, as that is a seasoned Pittsburgh offensive line, and a false start called on Louis Cancinos for Pittsburgh. That'll be 1st and 15 for the Purple Dragons.
As the Dragons are just being, crucified with these penalties. I mean, it's just killing their drives. These past couple of drives, 1st and 20 off a holding last drive. Now it's 1st and 15 off a false start, and they just have the unsportsmanlike conduct. So they got to clean it up if they want a chance to win.
Here's a fake handoff up the middle and a pitch to the outside, and that's a 1st down for Pittsburgh. That's Malachi Meadows on the carry.
Yeah, I think
Trevor Pepper on the carry.
Yeah, it was a nice toss play by Fern to Pepper out there, but I think these Grizzly linebackers are just trying to contain him on the inside, and when that happens, they're all trying to contain him. There's no one in there to clean up the mess. If you know what I'm saying, right? They're all trying to attack a block, get on the outside shoulder, and not tackling them.
Rink is the back, Pepper in motion. It's a pitch to the outside. Prophet left side across the 45, runs into his own man, and a flag flies. And he's nearly going to get the 1st, 2nd, and 2, we are presuming, but there is laundry. 11:30, 2nd quarter.
I'm kind of stunned with the play Kagan Bates just made right there. It was 2-on-1 in the alley on the left side, alley being between the receiver and the line of scrimmage. And he just, I don't know what he did, if he dove at the ankles or what, but he managed to get the ball carrier down. I'm impressed right now by Kagan Bates.
It is a hold on Pittsburgh. Back up the Purple Dragons from the spot of the foul, so it'll be 1st and 12 for Pittsburgh. Back into their own territory they go as they're trying to get across midfield, but the football gods won't allow it. Solo receiver out to the near side is Nicholson. Here's another fake up the middle and a pitch, a same play. Here's Profit, first down and more. Profit off to the races. Holt on his trail, and Profit tries to get the edge and then is finally pulled down. No, he's not. He cuts inside, leans forward, and he's down about the half-yard line.
On the 1 yard line. That was number 3.
Yeah, if you're the
Connor
Dragons,
Profit.
I don't think you hand one off up the gut all night. I mean, the toss has been there over and over again. Then again, if you're the Grizzlies, you play the toss, that dive's going to be there. It's just one of the things. You got to figure something out, whether you're rolling that safety down
Yeah.
or something. I mean, you got to load the box up or something if you're this Grizzly defense.
As Profit, I could have swore he's about to go out of bounds around the 8-yard line, and then he made a nice jab step to keep himself in play. Pittsburgh looking to pound it in from the 1-yard line, 1st and goal. The snap, the give up the middle, and touchdown Pittsburgh, 14-0 the score.
There's
Another flag is in.
flag.
Thank you, Caleb, our YouTube live cameraman, as I couldn't see it. I'm blind, evidently.
Happens to the best of
Yeah.
us, you know. You could always go to Parsons Eye
Care
Center.
Associates of
Yep.
Parsons.
As they do a great job up there north of Brahms.
They do. Dr. Gilmore, Newland, and Ray, our friends at Eye Care Associates, it is,
Touchdown was good. Now they'll try their 2-point conversion.
I think it was on Labette County, because the touchdown is good. Pittsburgh 14, Labette County 0, and they're at the same 2-yard line for their 2-point try, so no penalty was enforced. Bit of a swinging gate set for
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Offensive line is all the way to the left hash. A center, a running back, and quarterback get it done. Or did he lose the football?
I think he lost the football.
They're going to say it broke the
Oh.
plane. 2-point conversion is good. It's hard to see the
For Pittsburgh,
alignment on the south end zone from our
that 2-point conversion was
from our angle in the press box.
You know, it's always hard in high school football for these officials down on the goal line. The ball tends to come loose down there a lot as these players aren't really have the ball security or whatever for the hits that happen down there. So I think they always try to give them the benefit of the doubt about whether the ball crosses or not. I couldn't really see what happened there, but I think the Dragons got a lucky break.
Pittsburgh 16, Labette County 0. Labette will get another crack at it in 30 seconds. This is Grizzly football.
Together, we can make a difference.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with the free ScoreStream mobile app. Just download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video from your game and your rivals. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Kendall, better protection, check down Jamal, caught at the 50, has to work to get back to the line of scrimmage and gets to the 45. Nice job by Jamal to get to the 45. 3rd down and manageable, about 7 for Angry Red.
Yeah, nice job by Kendall getting the ball out quick as soon as he saw Jamal come loose outside of the offensive tackle there on a little swing route, out route, whatever you want to call it, from the running back spot.
3rd down and 7, 9:18 as the flag on the south end zone is more limp. It's a blitz for Pittsburgh. Nice step up into the pocket. Caught by Bates on the dish. Breaks the tackle, gets to the 32. A late flag flies.
As I don't know if that's, I think that's going to be another unsportsmanlike conduct on the Dragons there, as I don't know what was going on, or maybe on.
As
I
Kagan
don't
showed some
know.
frustration shortly after the flag was thrown.
I thought-
Referees looking down at his flag as they're discussing.
I don't know if they're going to just call on the Grizzlies now, but I believe there's a late hit by the Dragons that initially drew the flag. So I don't know what they're
Looks like the penalty's against the Grizzlies for a block in the back against the Grizzlies.
blocking. Oh,
Yeah, downfield block in the back on Labette County. Still remains 3rd down and about 6, so it doesn't hurt. But, boy, you had a nice play. Pittsburgh sent the house. Holtzman read it well, found Bates, and now you got to try again. 9 minutes until halftime. Pittsburgh 16, Labette County 0.
I mean, I'm sure you would love to have the first down, but still 3rd down and manageable. They still have a shot to convert and make a drive out of this.
Holtzman in the gun. Pittsburgh showing blitz with Kimsey on the edge. Now he'll drop back. Here's the snap. They don't blitz. Holtzman is going to try to step into a pass, but no one's open, and he's going to throw it, and it's tipped, intercepted, and it's picked off by Stone Peary, the running back, on the field with another tipped interception. That's the 2nd interception by Kendall that was tipped and intercepted. He had another one that was just caught by the corner. 3 turnovers for Labette County in the first half. Hard to beat any team, let alone a really good one in Pittsburgh, when you turn the ball over 3 times in one half.
Yeah, but in this one, he was looking for his man Xavier Phillips down here on the edge, and when you do that in like a scramble drill or whatever, you're taught as a receiver, if you are short, you go deep. If you're running left or right, you go to whatever side the quarterback's running to. You're deep, you come back. Xavier just kind of stood there and just went backwards with Kendall. Kendall had nowhere to go with the ball, and it led to that. So mental lapses that we've seen from this Grizzly offense so far.
Here's another option pitch, and it's on the deck about the 45, and it's going to be picked up by Profit, and he's flung to the ground. That's going to be a face mask on Labette County, as goodness gracious, flag after flag after flag after flag here in Lucas Field, as that's going to benefit Pittsburgh greatly. It would have been 2nd and over 20 from their own 40, but that's going to help out the Purple Dragons immensely.
Well, it's better than a touchdown, because if that toss was on the money, there's no Grizzly defender out there. I'm sure everyone in the stand saw that. You saw it, Jack. There's just nobody out there if that was a nice pitch.
The toss plays have definitely been there, as I think, because Labette County held Jamarian Washington of Parsons fantastic back. I believe he was under 50 yards on like 16 carries, something of the sorts. I'm off by a touch. But, yeah, running it up the middle is hard to do against Labette. It is. And Pittsburgh's kind of found that out, as that'll make it 1st down and 6 after the spot penalty. Here's the snap into the hands of Fern. Another option he keeps. He's met, and he's brought to the ground by Matthew Jarman.
Yeah, great play by Jarman to play both the toss and the quarterback there, as he kind of got stuck in an awkward position, but eventually he forced Fern to keep the ball, and he made the play.
8-minute mark has been passed. Again, Pittsburgh leads Labette County 16-0. Labette turned it over on their first play of the game, and 2 more since then as well. They've had every opportunity, and so has Pittsburgh. As really it comes down to if you can keep this a 2-score game at halftime, or at least maybe have another try before halftime to pound it in. 2nd and 4 for the Purple Dragons. Here's a pass. It's a straight drop for Fern. He's going to step up, maybe tuck and run, and he does. He's going to try to be tracked down by Claiborne. He whiffs. Here's Fern up ahead and is pushed out of bounds on the far side of the field near the Grizzly 25, give or take.
By, Cole Stevenson, nose tackle, was who took a nice angle, after not initially getting to him back in the backfield, as Fern did a nice job of escaping the pressure initially on set by number 76, Chris Stevens. Tate Claiborne missed a tackle. Happens. You can't let it happen, though. I hate to say that. Got to make plays when they count.
You're going to have to be a bend-don't-break defensive unit on this drive. Is going to have to keep Pittsburgh out of the end zone. Profit in motion, another pitch, it's on the deck again, and that was backwards, but they're going to say it was just an incomplete pass, I'm assuming dead play, as it was intended for Trevor Pepper, and he muffed it.
I'm not sure what I'm...
As maybe his knee was on the ground when he grabbed it.
That's what it have to be. So if it was incomplete, I don't think they'd spot it there.
Correct. So 2nd and a dozen for Pittsburgh, 6:50 first half, as even in an offense that they run all summer and all season, it's still hard to catch a toss sometimes. Profit in motion again. False start on the left edge of the line. That's Gabe Kimsey, the standout defensive player on the left side of the line. Gets caught on the illegal motion.
That's what it's called, right, Jack? We found out last week there's actually no false start. It's an illegal motion.
Yep. No false start in high school football. I did not know that. I called it false start earlier, and I remembered that after I said it. Steve McKenzie told me at the Jamboree, he said, Jack, there's no false start in high school football. It's illegal motion. Never knew that.
Or legal procedure. That's what it is.
A legal procedure, yes.
Sorry, folks. We're still ironing out some kinks with the terminology.
It's week 3. It's only like halfway through the season already.
Oh, it's fine, Jack. It's fine.
Long option by Coach Latimer to wait deep into the play clock, allowing us to chew up here in the press box a little bit, and then he calls a timeout. 6:14 to go in the opening half. Pittsburgh 16, Labette 0. Like to thank the rest of our sponsors: Labette Center for Mental Health Services, the Bartlett Co-op, Labette Bank, Community National Bank, Tank Connection, Wood Insurance Center, Unified School District of USD 506, the corner store of Altamont, and Olson Ace Hardware. We'd like to invite you to stay tuned for our Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show, as well as our Bowen Pharmacy postgame show when play concludes here from Altamont. Players still in their huddle. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is Grizzly football.
V93.5 is your home for the best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today. Get your day started with the Anna and Raven Morning Show. You're the judge during couples court. Couples share their disagreement, and then you decide who's right. Think you know pop culture trivia? It could pay off, and you score the cash jackpot when you play Can't Beat Raven. Krause in the House gets you home every weekday afternoon starting at 2. Stream us anytime, anywhere at klkcradio.com.
Short out pattern pass caught by Pittsburgh's kicker, Jaden Brown, during the back half of that break. Brings up 3rd down and 8 for the Purple Dragons on the Labette County 25-yard line. They lead our Grizzlies by a score of 16-0, 5:45 to go in the half. Labette desperate for a stop and maybe a score in the closing minutes of the half. Fern under center, big 3rd down. Pressured from the left side, coming off the block is Baker. He'll fling it to the end zone. That's a good pass, and it's off the left hand of the intended Pittsburgh Purple Dragon receiver, Connor Profit. He's been a busy man. 4th down and 8 for Pittsburgh. You might as well go for it.
Yeah, as I'm kind of impressed with how Fern has thrown the ball tonight. I know we say we don't really throw the ball a lot, but he's done a great job of giving he's done a great job of giving his guys chances to make plays on the ball. Saw earlier a pretty deep ball to this guy, hit the fingertips, couldn't make the play. On that one, if his receiver was able to get his other hand on the ball, he may have had a touchdown pass there.
Sure. Yeah, it's Fern certainly potentially an underrated passer just because he simply doesn't throw the ball a lot per game. 4th and 8. This might be a bigger play than we realize, at least in the moment. Fern under center, steps back, it's a pass. 4-step drop, rolls out to his right, pressured from the left. He'll roll out, Whitley in front, and he's dumped from behind. A flag is going to fly, what do you know, as Labette County signaling that it's on Pittsburgh. As on the sack, though, credit Cole Stevens for tracking him down from behind, and it is on Pittsburgh. It's declined. 1st and 10 Grizzlies with plenty of time. Ball is on your own 25. John, we said a drive ago that you got to score, so let's go ahead and say it again. You got to score because Pittsburgh's going to get the ball to open the 3rd quarter and maybe again here in the half. So you're going to have to go down, burn some time, and score here.
Yeah, even if you don't score, at least milk the clock a little bit. You'd love to score here. It'd help your chances win the ball game, but you cannot let Pittsburgh touch the ball again with enough time to make a drive. You cannot go 3 and out. You got to string together a couple first downs.
3 turnovers for the Grizzlies in the first half, and they're only down 2 scores. 2 receivers out to the right and left side. Ball right down the heart of the field. Grizzlies working it right to left. Jackson up the middle, tries to shake left and goes back to the right side. Up the middle he'll stay, though, and gain a couple.
Yeah, with how much penetration this Dragon defense is, getting, I really think, it'd be interesting to see what a screen pass we do here, get those big guys up
Yeah.
front, kind of just swing it in right behind him and let Jamal go to work downfield with his line.
4:50 to go in the half. Here's the snap. It's
Wildcat.
direct to Lawrence Holt. Holt tries to get around the right side and does. Holt into the secondary, pushed out of bounds into the Purple Dragons sideline. And are there any flags? Of course there is. I actually never saw a flag. I just assumed there was, and I was right.
Yep, right there on that far side. I don't know what they're going to get as Lawrence ran right into an assistant coach of the Dragons, as that was what I was watching at the end of that play. So
it is a hold on Labette County.
So what we've seen tonight is just sloppy football from both sides, really, when it comes to penalties and turnovers. Pittsburgh's been, a victim of the mental lapses, and so is Labette County, as there's a drop pass earlier that led to an interception. Another tip pass that led to an interception. Just not keeping control of the ball, and the penalties. Drive killers, you hate them. As a coach, I know you just don't want to see them. It's a team that just hurts their chances to get any points on the board.
That backs Labette up to their own 26. 2nd down and 12. Holt in press coverage on the near side with Nicholson. Bates on the far side. Again, Labette without Nolan Nash. Left knee injury he took at Parsons last week. Holtzman in the gun. Jackson behind him. Here's the snap. He's looking for Holt deep left side. He's got to get under it and can't get there. As if it would have been caught, it would have been across midfield. It was a long pass from the right hash as Holt did lay out for it. 3rd down and 12. Now Pittsburgh's drooling over there, waiting on good field position yet again.
As you wonder if that's just lack of repertoire with both Holt and Holtzman there, as Holtzman led him a little bit too far and Holt didn't really have time to run under it. So overall, it was not a good ball. It was a decent ball as he had to thread the safety in the corner on the opposite hash. So not a terrible ball. You just a little bit closer to Lawrence there.
3rd and 12. Holtzman drops back, throws it to the left side, and that's well out of reach of Kagan Bates. Lavette's going to have to punt. Kendall showing a little bit of frustration, and here comes the Grizzly punt unit. 3 plays, -2 yards on that drive. Not what you're looking for, and Pittsburgh has all the time in the land and 1 timeout to go try to score and make it a 3-possession game before half.
Yeah, the passing game has not looked sharp tonight by any stretch of the means. You wonder if it's a confidence issue, coming off that huge loss to Parsons last week and not really having success throwing there. You wonder if they've let it affect them in coming into this game as well. As this Dragon defense has really done a nice job out in coverage, as there hasn't really been too many open Grizzly receivers down the field anywhere really. I know we saw earlier Kagan got loose for a nice gain. Unfortunately got brought back, but outside of that, there really hasn't been much going for the Grizzlies down the field.
Right, as there is also a delay of game on Labette County. That backs them up even farther, so Landon Jones is going to be punting from near his own 5.
Yeah, and I don't think Coach Price even noticed, the play clock there, as he was kind of chewing, Kendall Holtzman out on the sideline, which those two, they have a great relationship and stuff, and so nothing bad about it, but kind of,
Jones' punt is nearly blocked. It's a high wobbler, not a bad kick for how he was pressured, and he gets it away. Landon Jones is a magician, as he's had multiple punts almost blocked, but somehow squirts it around him. It'll die at the 38, so Pittsburgh has 38 yards until pylon, and a lot of time to do so.
Well, Jack, what we said couldn't happen is happening right now. Pittsburgh has the ball on R38 with 4 minutes and 13 seconds. They can sit on that ball as long as they want. From what they've shown so far, being able to run the ball almost at will, not really. They've been stuffed a couple times by the stout Grizzly defense, but they got to get set and ready to play ball here.
Quarterback for Pittsburgh's number 11, Tucker Akins, a 5'10 senior. He'll hand it off up the right side and bouncing it around the hash. A nice gain for the Purple Dragons. Wyatt Rink, 2nd down and about 4 for Pittsburgh, coming up under 4 minutes to go in the half. Now Labette County is in some dangerous territory. They're going to have to keep Pittsburgh out of the end zone before halftime.
Yeah, certainly. And one thing I've noticed about this Dragon, attack is their offensive line gets off the ball so fast. I mean, just watch them here, Jack, how they shoot out and get to their keys.
9 down linemen for Pittsburgh. Akins takes the snap, kicks it out, pitches it, and it's Pepper on the carry around the bend. Well enough for the first down. Near the Grizzly 20-yard line, 1st and 10 Pittsburgh, as the clock is halted at 3:24.
Yeah, some nice patience on that run there by Pepper as he let his block set up and he's able to cut back in and squirt through for a nice gain. Bradley Black, the opposite side defensive end, had to come make the tackle. So if you're the Grizzlies here, you gotta make a stand here, whether or not you get it on this one, but you cannot let them score here. It's a do or die in this situation if you're the Grizzly defense.
Pittsburgh takes the snap. Akins hands it off right side. Plenty of room deep into the secondary, still churning, and then whipped to the ground. Wyatt Rink on the efforts. Back there on the tackle for Labette County, Barrett Heston with some action. Under 3 minutes to go now. Pittsburgh really threatening, 1st and goal from the 5.
Yeah, nice burst by the running back there from the Dragons. As you could just see the gashes and the holes in this Grizzly defense are beginning to show as time keeps wearing on them and been on the field quite a bit.
Timeout, Grizzlies.
Timeout, Coach Price, 2:51. Grizzly defense backed up deep in their own territory. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is Grizzly football.
Labette Community College is meeting the need for an increased demand in qualified radiographers. Our radiography students will train on the latest technology in a hospital simulation environment.
I wanted to be able to go into a career where I could help people. And if you're going to go into that field in this part of the 4-state area, LCC is the only place to come.
Tuition is nearly half the cost of universities. Scholarship and financial aid available for those who qualify. Text radiography to 620-293-6671 for more information or visit labette.edu.
First and goal for Pittsburgh from the 5-yard line. Akins under center, takes it, hands it off, and that's a touchdown for Pittsburgh. Wyatt Rink pounds it in for 6. Pittsburgh stretches it out. It is 22-0 Purple Dragons.
As there's not much resistance from that Grizzly defense on that play as he got right to the hole. Just basically walked in. I wouldn't say walked in. He was tackled into the end zone, but still, it's 5 or 6 yards down the field before someone touches him. And if you're getting that beat up front on the line, I think as a defender or a defensive line, you definitely just got to fall down or whatever so you can clear up the hole for your linebackers to come fill.
Same set. Akins takes the snap, gives it on the jet sweep around the left side, and in for 2 is Beau Pasteur. It's 24-0 Pittsburgh, making it look easy here in Lucas Field. Again, invite you to stay tuned for our Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show here in a couple minutes. But in the meantime, Labette County's offense has got to go score. We'll return in 30 seconds. This is Grizzly football.
At Labette Community College, we're passionate about medicine and compassionate about people. Our highly trained instructors provide innovative career-specific education in the field of diagnostic medical sonography. Do you already have an associate or bachelor's degree in healthcare? Earn an additional certification in sonography. LCC offers a 12-month completely online program with a clinical component. In as little as 1 year, specialize in OB, abdomen, or vascular. For more information, text pound SONO to 620-293-6671 today. Apply online at labette.edu.
Welcome back, football fans, to Lucas Field in Altamont, Kansas, home of the Grizzlies. Pittsburgh 24, Labette County 0. John, Pittsburgh just doing Pittsburgh things. They just beat teams. I'm not saying this game's over, but they're beating Labette County right now. Pretty good.
Yeah, and we said earlier in the first quarter how these teams are evenly matched. Pittsburgh's starting to prove that's not the case. You know, they're proving that they're much bigger, stronger, and faster than the Grizzlies. So if you're the Grizzlies, you got to go into halftime and figure out a way. How do we claw back? How do we get back into this game? That's one thing you can always count on the Grizzlies. They'll always find a way to try to fight back.
Absolutely.
They'll always make the switch-ups, halftime adjustments to try to give themselves the best chance to get back into the ball game. What those are going to be, I don't know, Jack, but they're going to find something.
This is a Pittsburgh team that scored 0 points against Chanute last Friday. They've scored 24 in one half here against the Grizzlies, as Holt lets the kickoff take one bounce and then catches it. He'll bounce around near the 25, comes to the near side, and that's where he's brought down just across near the 26. 1st and 10 Grizzlies right there. 2:36 to work with and 2 timeouts for Coach Price. Plenty of time, especially with how Labette can throw the ball, but we haven't seen it tonight yet, but still one more drive to show us before half.
No, and there's been some openings. I think Kendall has just not been as sharp as he usually is. I don't know if it's last week, confidence issues, whatever it is. He's not been hitting the mark tonight. We saw earlier Kagan Bates got open on a nice little out route, so you wonder if that's an area of the field we're going to start to attack, the middle outside parts or the middle inside parts for that matter. Not necessarily short where they can just sit back and tee off on the receivers, but give them time to get open.
It's a handoff up the middle to Jamal Jackson. So we'll see if Coach Price does elect to be aggressive or not. Jamal gains about 3. 2nd and 7. No hurry from the Grizzly offense. In fact, taking their time gracefully.
Yeah, I think their thought is we just got to get back to halftime and see what else we can throw at them or whatever. We just cannot let them touch the football. That's their thought process right now, and it's not a bad one.
No.
Considering what we've seen so far.
Holtzman takes the snap. This time it is a pass. Steps up into the pocket, flings it across the middle, looking for Holt. Hits his fingers and then falls incomplete into the secondary. Now the clock is stopped at 1:56, and it's 3rd and 7, John.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound draggy, but Pittsburgh's a play away from getting the ball again.
Yeah, which I don't know if that was just to help set up, better protection on the pass, but something's got to change with this Grizzly offense.
Trips out to the far side. Labette moving the ball right to left. Phillips in solo coverage on the near side, closest to his sideline with Nicholson. 4 down linemen for Pittsburgh. Middle linebacker is Caswell. Holtzman with Jackson behind him. Takes the snap. Pressured from the right side. Pass is too low for Phillips. And it's incomplete with the 1:52 on the clock. The clock's still running. It should be 1:53. As it'll be 4th down and 6 for Labette County, and they'll have to punt it away, John. And now you start to kind of clench your teeth and hopefully buckle down on defense before it gets real ugly before half.
Yeah, as Kendall's certainly not looked sharp at all tonight, and that was just another case of it where there was miscommunication between him and Xavier there. Xavier made a nice turn on the comeback route there, which is a nice play that Grizzlies like to run on 3rd downs and stuff. Just wasn't there. And that hasn't been all night so far, as we still have a goose egg up on that scoreboard.
2 returners back deep for Pittsburgh, one of them being Grant O'Doherty. Jones nearly has it blocked again. It's caught by O'Doherty, and he'll fair catch it at his own 48-yard line. Good punt by Landon. That one had nice hang time, but there's not much he can do when he's punting from his own 20 every time. 1:43, Pittsburgh with it. 1st and 10, own 47.
If the Grizzlies want any chance at winning this game, they cannot let Pittsburgh reach the end zone. I mean, that's just paramount, because if they go in half with a 30-point lead, you're playing for pride from there on out if you're the Grizzlies. I don't think they have a chance to crawl back in. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I know for one thing, 24-point deficit is way better than a 30-point deficit.
Absolutely. Akins under center. The back, Wyatt Rink. The snap, Rink, up the middle, right side, across the 45, across the 40, still on his feet, pinballing near the 30, and that's where he'll go down. Tackled by a couple Grizzlies, Barrett Heston and Lawrence Holt. 90 seconds is stopped on the clock, but a flag is thrown at the 40-yard line.
It's probably going to be a holding. That's what they're going to get, but arm tackles. That's what we're seeing out of the Grizzlies right now. No one's willing to go in and make the hit. And that's something we haven't been able to say too much about the Grizzlies in previous games. But right now, that's what we're witnessing. I think they've just been out there too long. They're worn down. When you get tired, you start arm tackling, making mistakes.
It is a hold on Pittsburgh. That'll take the possession back on the left side of the 50 again for them at their own 49. First down and 8. Nolan Harity in single coverage on the far side with Jaden Brown. Plays a little bit of everything, does Brown. Here's Rink up the middle, bursting into the secondary and pulled down by the jersey. That's Roper Whitley on the effort. First and 10 Pittsburgh, minute 17 to go in the half. Pittsburgh chewing their way deeper into Grizzly territory.
Yeah, as no one touched him until he was 10 yards down the field. And if you're a defense, I'll be quite brutally honest, that's unacceptable by the Grizzly defense there.
Akins, the quarterback, rolls out off the snap, flings it, and it's incomplete, goes in between the arms of Beau Pasteur and hits the ground incomplete. Second down and 10 approaching for the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons.
As there should have been an illegal hands to the face there as Matthew Jarman, the defensive end, rushing off the edge. He caught a paw right to his face mask, held it up, and it should have been a call. Unfortunately missed for the Grizzly defense.
Akins under center. I'd like to apologize as it has been Akins at quarterback, not Webb Fern. I deeply apologize for that mistake. As it's another pass to the right side, Lawrence Holt was in coverage and nearly got the pick, John. Lawrence Holt has been really efficient in the cornerback coverage this evening.
Yeah, he's been really nice out there on the defense, but I'm sorry, Jack. Have we been saying Fern this whole time and it's been Akins?
Thanks for pointing it out yet again, John.
Oh, I feel horrible now as Akins has done a nice job managing this Dragons offense.
Third down and 10. Akins takes it, pitches it right side, deep into the secondary, tight-roping the sideline and spinning out of the fingers of a Grizzly secondary member on the efforts is O'Doherty.
That may have been the most gruesome spin move I've seen in my life, Jack, as he got down that sideline with such quickness. Two Grizzly defenders not breaking down on the hip to make the tackle, and he just spun right out of it.
45 seconds and counting for Pittsburgh. Ball is on the Grizzlies 16. They lead 24-0. Akins flings it left side on a rope. It's caught. O'Doherty walks into the end zone. Touchdown Pittsburgh, and it did indeed get ugly here in Altamont.
Yeah, it's just like a hot butter knife going right through some butter right now, if that's what you want to call it, as the Dragons are just unstoppable right now on offense. Just moving with such rhythm and grace as they just march down the field with such, just at will. At this point, there's not much resistance from the Grizzly defense.
The outside edges have definitely been exposed as these runners will kind of start to go up the middle at times, and then they'll just bounce, hit that sideline, and it is off to the races. Pittsburgh in the swinging gate formation. It is just a center, the quarterback Akins, and a running back. They take the snap. Akins fakes the pitch, piles forward, and he's in. Boy, it is that easy. There's only a center, a quarterback, and running back, and the offensive line is all the way on the other side of the field, and Akins just kind of piles it in. Pittsburgh 32, Labette County 0. 30 seconds left in the opening half in Labette County. We will be back in 1 minute. This is Grizzly football.
Hi, I'm Shelby, one of the pharmacists at Bowen Pharmacy. Not only do we keep you up to date on your COVID and flu vaccines, but we also offer pneumonia, shingles, hepatitis, meningitis, tetanus, and whooping cough vaccines. Based on the latest CDC guidelines, we can recommend the vaccines to keep you and your family healthy. Thank you for always choosing Bowen Pharmacy. We're here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
Holt and Heston back to return another Brown kickoff again from Pittsburgh. We've said that a few times. 32-0 is the score, and Labette, hopefully, should they not turn it over, as they almost do, as it hits the chest of Jamal Jackson and is almost picked up by Pittsburgh, but he falls on it as another scare, as, man, Pittsburgh was threatening to go up 40 should that not be recovered by the good guys, and it was.
As you're starting to wonder if that week 1 performance we saw was just a fluke from the Grizzlies, as I had a hiccup. I'm sorry.
It's like, are you sobbing over there, John? I mean,
yeah,
I understand
sad.
why.
I'm sad with how the performance has been. No, I had a hiccup, but as you just wonder, what has changed in this Grizzly team from week 1 to now? I don't think the opponents have been much better than Circle. It's just been our execution so far.
As Jackson will get the carry up the middle, makes the most of it, and gets into the early level of the secondary, gain of about 8 or 9. 15 seconds, we'll see if they elect to run it one more time, and I think they're just going to wind it down and head across the railroad tracks into the locker room.
As Jamal has been the lone bright spot on this Grizzly team so far tonight.
Certainly played his heart out, as you can put your money on Labette County coming out in the second half and playing hard. As you mentioned that earlier, heart is something that Labette County's always been so good at wearing on their sleeve. Pittsburgh 32, Labette 0 at the break. We'll see if Labette County can turn it around in half number 2. But for now, we're going to take a 5-minute break, if that's okay, Amanda, and we will come back with our Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show.
My name is Bria, and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
as we return here at Lucas Field, where I believe it's the junior high band, a part of the band's halftime performance on the field, doing a fantastic job, mixed in there with some of the high school band members as well. Labette County struggled in that first half as the score tells the tale. Pittsburgh 32, Labette County 0. Pittsburgh will receive the ball to open the third quarter. John, what went wrong for Labette County in that first half? Early on, the defense looked really nice, and then they just started to find themselves on the field over and over again. Few turnovers. They were cleaned up. They happened fairly early, but there were just a few different things that just fell wrong for the Grizzlies in that first half.
Well, Jack, is just like I don't know. You could pick and choose what went wrong. I think everything went wrong for the Grizzlies that could go wrong outside of Jamal Jackson's performance so far. I know we said before half, he's probably been our lone bright spot. As that defense, I think, as bad as the offense has been tonight, and I'm not going to sit here and try to be negative about it, but it's what it's been. The defense has just fallen apart, just fell apart in that second quarter. As I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm sure they scored 24 of their points there in that second quarter. And as a defense, that's unacceptable. It really is. A lot of 24 points in a quarter. That's on pace for 96 points in a game if you're letting up 24 a quarter. And I think that's something they're talking about in the locker room right now. How can we fix this? Where can we go to start, defending this? I wonder if they're going to pull up some of that Chanute film from last week and figure out, okay, this is how they guarded that option. This is where they bump guys. This is where they align guys. And they're going to start to take stuff from the Chanute game last week because Chanute held them to 0 points. And that's an SEK opponent that you're going to end up playing. So you got to find something that's going to work and just come out of here with some pride. I'd love to see a Grizzly comeback, but you got to know the deck is stacked against you.
Yeah, absolutely. As this is a Pittsburgh team where in their game against a SEK foe that Labette County will face, they lost to Chanute last Friday 27-0, and now in one half they have 32 points. So it's been a roller coaster of a ride for Pittsburgh compared to that first game where they scored 54 points. So this game's looking like the score is going to be closer to that one. At least hopefully Labette County can pound it in the end zone a few times. But, in that game, I don't want the game against Circle to be the one that we reference all year long. I certainly anticipate better games coming for Labette County in the near future and hopefully in this second half. But in that game against Circle, when they were so incredibly successful, they would just try to take advantage of some of those mismatches with like Xavier Phillips in particular. Granted, Labette is without Nolan Nash this evening. That does change things a little bit schematically and with your weapons. But we just hadn't seen some of that pop over the top that we saw in that game with Circle. And the protection has been a little bit of the problem in terms of Kendall having to throw the ball quick or in a place where he doesn't want to. But, John, in this second half, do you look for Labette to run the ball more or try to get back to that air attack? Is there one or the other that you go for?
I think if Pittsburgh comes out and scores the ball, because they'll have the ball coming out of, half. If they come out and score, I think we'll see us run the ball, pass the ball as well. But it's tough because, if you just come out and just throw the ball 20 to 30 times this second half, that pass rush of the Dragons is going to find their money. They're going to find their home in that backfield. And eventually you're going to start thinking, if it gets bad and you don't start to make a net in the sleeve, when are we going to pull Kendall? Because if you're just throwing the ball, you don't want your star quarterback to get hurt.
Absolutely. As again, talking about, you said quarterback, and it just made me think of it. I would like to apologize for saying Webb Fernall first half, and it was Tucker Akins, as he's done a fantastic job. As I didn't know that Fern wasn't going to play this evening. I did quite a bit of research on it and everything, and never thought to ask about their quarterback status. But Tucker Akins has come in and done a fantastic job as he's taken snaps in both their games this year. As on Max Preps, it does say that Pittsburgh played on Monday against Bolivar, Missouri. So I don't know if Pittsburgh did play on Monday or not. Maybe they have a JV thrown in there or something. I doubt it.
I don't
doubt
think
their
they played
varsity
on
played,
Monday.
but it was just sitting here on Max Preps, and it just popped up. But no, Tucker Akins has done a great job taking snaps in those games against Emporia and Chanute. And he does have a great arm, as a lot of his balls don't have a lot of drop on them. And even though it's not Webb Fern, they've still ran the same offense. So that tells you that they have all these pieces they can interchange and not lose their identity, as this is the second year for Coach Latimer and his Mike Vrabel ways, not to make a comparison to the Tennessee Titans, but they're just so efficient and demoralizing for a defensive unit.
Yeah, especially, when they find something that works and they don't just stick to it. And when I say that, I mean they're just running the same play, hoping they end up with that option based on the reads.
Right.
So they're just going to put themselves in opportunities to make the play to have that option, if you know what I'm saying, with the outside tosses, So they kept running the same option play. We haven't seen a whole lot of power or trap. We saw it a couple times in that first half. I expect a full, heavy dose of power and trap coming out, though. Maybe they'll test the waters with the option in that toss, but expecting them to just run the ball with that running back by committee they have.
As this is the Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show, as there are some junior cheer members or junior dancers out there performing, as the music was quite loud if you could hear that in the background. 5 minutes before the players start to make their way back to stretch and warm up for the second half of play. But so far this has been the front half of the Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show. We're going to take a 2-minute break and come back with some halftime scores from around the area. Welcome back, football fans, to the back half of the Eye Care Associates of Parsons halftime show. Jack Leake, John Kohler with you on the call. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube live stream, Facebook live stream, and on our favorite station in the area, 106.7 KLKC Parsons. And I got to tell you, I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Wayne Gilmore, our boss, the owner of the radio station. Thank you, Wayne, for allowing our area to have a radio station. And I do encourage you, if you're a fan of sports, even with some of the shows that are aired throughout the day, if you don't like sports, you would still enjoy some of these shows. As I commute to school at Pittsburgh State, and I put in some hours on 106.7 KLKC Fox Sports. Start your day out with Dan Patrick, a laid-back type of show, informative, funny. Then you get into Colin Cowherd towards lunchtime and into your afternoon. Rigid, raw takes on all kinds of sports things going on. Then Doug Gottlieb rounds out your work drive home. So a lot of really nice sports talk Fox Sports shows on 106.7 KLKC Parsons. You can also get the app on your phone, 106.7 KLKC on Android or iOS. At least I have it on my iPhone. Whip it out, program schedule, and play what's going on 106.7. Pittsburgh on the field warming up on the south end zone. I'd like to get into a few different halftime scores from around the area. In Independence, Kansas, Fort Scott leads Indy 7-0 at the break. In Chanute, Tonganoxie leads the Blue Comets 21-14 at the break. In Galena, Girard shutting out the Bulldogs 24-0. And in Parsons, Iola 0, Parsons 0. So goose eggs across the board in Vikings territory. In Baldwin, Lewisburg leads Baldwin 34-0. If you guys remember Baldwin, that's where our Lady Grizzlies went in the first round of sub-state in basketball back in March and beat the Lady Bulldogs to move on to the sub-state finals. That was a memorable game in Baldwin. A couple other scores from around the area that you might care about. In Riverton, the Rams trail Colgan 28-0 at the halftime intermission. Spring Hill leads Eudora 21-14. Again, these are halftime scores from around the area. We do have one final score, as I believe that was St. Paul. Yes, St. Paul thumped Yates Center on the road 56-0, and that is a final. In Columbus, Coffeyville, Golden Tornado lead the Columbus Titans that lost a good group of seniors. Coffeyville leads 28-6 at the break in Columbus. Jack Leake, John Kohler with you on the call for tonight's broadcast of Labette County Grizzly football, playing host to the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons. 2.5 minutes until the second half begins as quarterback Kendall Holtzman down here warming up, tossing the ball back and forth with an assistant coach. Nolan Nash is down there handing the ball to Kendall, and that made me think of him. John, talk about who that game against Circle. Maybe a lot of Grizzly Nation has never heard of Nolan Nash, but they sure did after that game against Circle. While he's not on the field performing tonight, let's let him be a talking point momentarily as part of our halftime show. Talk about what you see in Nolan Nash's future in this season and moving forward as a Grizzly.
Yeah, right now he's just an exceptional athlete we have on the outside. You know, the speed's not quite there yet. I mean, he's got some, obviously, but it's the size, it's the intangibles, you know, high pointing the football, stuff like that. Stuff you wouldn't think about that's really important to be a receiver. He has those things.
Sure.
Right now it's about everything else. Footwork, route running, stuff like that. Stuff he's got to improve on. And if he can improve on it, I think he's going to be a deadly threat for this Grizzly offense further down the road. He may grow into a Tanner Russell, Owen Back, one of those type of guys who were really dominant here for the Grizzlies.
Absolutely, is a supreme talent as a freshman. His brothers are going to battle on the field, though, tonight without him. Again, Labette County trails Pittsburgh at the break, 32-0. We'll see if Labette County got a few things corrected on the drawing board here in 2 minutes on KLKC Parsons.
At Labette Community College, we're passionate about medicine and compassionate about people. Our highly trained instructors provide innovative career-specific education in the field of diagnostic medical sonography. Do you already have an associate or bachelor's degree in healthcare? Earn an additional certification in sonography. LCC offers a 12-month completely online program with a clinical component. In as little as 1 year, specialize in OB, abdomen, or vascular. For more information, text pound SONO to 620-293-6671 today. Apply online at labette.edu.
I'm curious to see if Coach Price wants to pull a Sean Payton and kick an onside kick to open up the second half here, as why not?
Yeah, why not? You ain't got nothing to lose. As if you're the Grizzlies, you're just hoping something breaks for you. You catch a break and you start getting something going momentum-wise, as it has been all Dragons through the first 2 quarters of this ball game.
Kicking off for the Grizzlies.
Which brings up another point. Who's our kicker now that Nolan Nash is not in? I know I haven't seen. This is our first kickoff right now.
Right.
Don't know who's doing it.
It is the first time. I was wondering the same thing as well, John. It is the first time Labette County has kicked off tonight. They received to open the game and never scored, as it looks like it's going to be Manny Ramirez, a freshman, listed as a wide receiver and a kicker, as I know him and Landon Jones kind of go at it in practice and make each other better. So nice to see Manny making an impact here on the field. He lines it up at the 40-yard line right in the middle of the field. Labette County kicks it off. Low line drive with a bit of a spiral to it into the arms of the awaiting Purple Dragon. Beau Pasteur tries to get around the edge and is ripped to the ground just shy of midfield. Pittsburgh yet again, though, with good field position.
And I wonder if they're going to start playing Jamal at linebacker as well, as we saw him play some last week. And we see there, he's made a couple plays on special teams tonight for this special teams unit, so you wonder if they're going to play him out there at all, just to have that extra speed at the linebacker position.
As Jamal was indeed the one to credit for that tackle on the return. Tucker Akins at quarterback under center. The halfback is Peary. We saw a lot of Wyatt Rink. Here's Stone Peary. Here's a pitch. It's on the ground. It's picked up by Labette County. Barrett Heston on the fumble recovery. And it'll be 1st and 10 Grizzlies at the Pittsburgh 35. Labette turned it over on their first play of the first half. Pittsburgh turns it over on the same in the second half.
All right, now it's time to be positive here, Jack, as if we score here in a couple plays, we're right back in this thing. So, like we said, we needed a break, and the Dragons just gifted us one. If you're the Dragons, you can't do that if you want to hold on to the win. You can't have sloppy mistakes like that one. If you're the Grizzlies, it's a must to take advantage of this.
It's pretty much like you got to receive the kickoff in the third quarter. Labette has the ball. Purple Dragon, 36, they say. A little bit of a high snap. It's caught, handed off. Jackson up the middle, nowhere to go. 2nd and 10 coming up for Labette County.
Yeah, it was just I don't even know what the blocking was there. I want to say it was a duo block in the middle. We didn't really get much push, but we also didn't get pushed back at all, so that's why it was just I don't even know if it was a gain. I want to say it was a gain of maybe a half a yard there by Jamal. Really hard running, though. I mean, he was just met by the stout linebacking core of the Dragons. So, overall, just nice play from this defense we've seen so far tonight.
They give him a yard. 2nd and 9 from the 35. Holt in motion. Jackson to the right of Kendall. Here's the snap. It's a fake jet sweep. Holtzman keeps up the middle, keeps churning his legs, gets across the 30 down to the 29-yard line. 3rd and manageable.
As I wonder if that's something they're going to go back to. We saw earlier in the ball game, which Kendall has 2 carries, but that first carry is a designed run like that with the motion, brought the defender out of the box, allows Kendall to get right up through his lineman for a nice little crease. So quarterback run game, something we've seen in the past, Easton D and stuff like that. We're starting to use that size of Kendall a little bit here.
Big 3rd down for the Grizzlies. 10 minutes, 20 seconds, third quarter. Pittsburgh turned it over on the opening play. A pitch out to Jamal. Tries to turn a corner. Kinda, sorta does. And is hit in the shoulder pad just before he could fall all the way forward. 4th and 1 from the 26-yard line.
Yeah, I think you're just going to sneak it here for the Grizzlies. We're so good at this. Kendall's so good at this. Getting right up between the center, Lane Simmons, and just diving forward and getting what he can.
It is a quarterback sneak, pushing, and he definitely got it across the 25 to the high side of the 24-yard line, and that'll move the chains. 1st and 10 Grizzlies. As some life from Grizzly Nation.
I don't know why, but our line gets some push on those sneaks, as you saw there. They carried him for 2 or 3 yards, so hey, says you may have to add this into your running game a little bit, the little sneak. So right now, that's your best running play. From a blocking perspective, I know they've
Right.
done a nice job with Jamal, so I'm going to take that statement back, actually. O-line's done a decent job with the run blocking.
1st and 10, Jamal gets past the first level of defenders and then is hit firmly as he crossed the 24. 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, you can see the potential with the running plays, though, as there is some hope there that maybe Jamal will break loose. Because the initial blocks are good. It's the downfield blocks that we're kind of struggling with, getting our hands on those linebackers before they get to Jamal.
Jamal again lined up right behind his quarterback, Kendall Holtzman, wearing a towel right behind his lower back. Bates in motion. It's a fake to him, a deep pass, left end zone. Phillips almost intercepted as it was there, and a beautifully placed ball, but very well read by the Purple Dragon secondary defender, Grant O'Doherty.
Yeah, that's just a tremendous play by the safety to get over there and make a play on the ball, as that was going to be right in the breadbasket of Xavier Phillips, as Xavier had to step on his man. I know Xavier may not be the fastest
He was
guy,
there.
but he had to step on him. Some sneaky athleticism down there from the senior wide receiver.
8:54, 3rd quarter. Labette looking for their first score of the game. Trips left, bunch formation, snap, 3-step drop, tries to put a foot in the dirt, does Kendall, has to run, runs over a defender, gets across the 20 to the 17. Kendall Holtzman, a bigger bodied quarterback than some of these middle linebackers, might be used to having to tackle, and he kind of sort of chin strapped that defender there, John. He hit him pretty good.
Yeah, as Kendall, he's using that big frame he's always had, finally putting his shoulder down a little bit, and that's a terrifying sight for your defender. It's hard to bring down a 6'2", 200-pound runner. I would not want to be one of those Dragon defenders bringing him down.
It is another 4th down, though, after an exciting play by Kendall. 4th and 4. Grizzlies in the red zone for the first time tonight. Deuces out left and right. Ball in the middle. It's a blitz. Kendall has to get it away quick, and it hits the dirt. Incomplete. Turnover on downs for the Grizzly offense. Back in the hands of Atkins and company goes the pigskin.
As Kendall's just unable to step in and make a strong throw. That Dragon defense is pressuring him too much. Pressure's right in his face. Can't really step into it. But if you're Kendall, it's one of those things you just got to find a way to, right? You got to give your team a chance, and on that throw, you really didn't. It was short of Kagan, and you wonder if they're going to start shortening his route trees a little bit because of that pressure. You know he's not going to be able to get the ball to you right on time and on target. So things to look out for.
Kagan Bates, a shallow safety near the 29-yard line. He adjusts as the man in motion. Here's a handoff up the right side after the snap, and it's Stone Peary getting a lot of attention. Kind of changes in and out with Wyatt Rink a little bit. We saw a lot of Rink in the first half.
I mean, yeah, the Dragons have multiple talented runners. I mean, you just look at the burst and their poise and finding the hole, and I mean, it's incredible to watch. You know, and you got to think about the lack of egos on that in that committee too.
Man.
Not one of those guys has shown frustration when they get taken out of the ballgame for another. So,
good point, John. The ball is on the right hash, just inside. Profit fakes the jet sweep, goes back to where he was. Here's the snap, and Akins goes up the middle. Gain of about 8 or 9, flirting with the 35-yard line. In fact, that's where they'll paste it on the right hash. Move the chains for Pittsburgh.
yeah, one of the keys, you know, there's going to be a guy that is going to have the dive in these option plays, guys on the quarterback, guys on the toss, and you're looking at this defense. You wonder if there's a lack of communication about who's got who when they're lined up like that. So it's something's got to change. I mean, they're just grinding away.
6:56 and counting, third quarter. The snap, Akins, delayed handoff, switches sides, Profit, nothing but green grass and one defender. Is he going to get it? And Lawrence Holt does. He was the last hope for Labette on the edge. A long, big-time run for Connor Profit on a bit of a misdirection down to the Grizzly 35.
Yeah, Roper was there to make the play, but unfortunately, Peyton Claiborne, the linebacker, got kind of hooked out there, and he's supposed to have the outside edge. Forrest, who's the runner again? I'm sorry.
On that play there,
yeah,
it was Connor Profit.
Yeah, to force Profit back inside to Roper, got hooked on the block, couldn't do it. Profit just ran outside. No one's there.
Here's the snap, up the right middle. is Stone Peary, as he's brought down after a moderate gain of about 5, at least moderate for Pittsburgh, has shaken up after the hit. Was that Michael Reed shaken up a bit, John, or was that Claiborne?
It was Cole Stevens.
Oh, it was Cole.
Linebacker, or nose tackle, I should say. He's played a bit of both tonight. But he seems to be all right. Maybe just have the wind knocked out of him a little bit.
Yeah, as no one, I believe, exited the game for Labette County, at least due to an injury, that is. 6-minute mark about to be passed in the third quarter. The back is Rink this time behind Akins. Profit in motion again. Akins just keeps it, finds a gap left side, lowers his head, stays on his feet, and tiptoes in between some outstretched arms of Grizzly defenders and gets the first down deeper towards the red zone.
Yes, on that one, they didn't motion the wing behind the back. They motioned him in front, sort of as a lead blocker there on the quarterback power. So, I'm sorry, I got to find myself here a little bit. Akins, the quarterback, he took the snap, let his runners get in front of him, just followed them right through the hole.
Cole Stevens was a little sluggish to get up again, and he did end up jogging off the field eventually. So Stevens is off the field. We hope he's all right. Here is another ball on the deck, another one of those option pitches, and it is recovered by Pittsburgh. Profit got on it. Second down and long, though, for the Purple Dragons.
Yep, and that's where Pittsburgh's been kind of sloppy tonight. I'm not going to lie. I wonder if Akins just hasn't had enough reps at that toss. You know, you've seen the movie, remember the Titans? You know, the quarterback, what is it, Sunshine or whatever, struggle with that toss.
I don't think, well, I've seen that movie, but it's been too long ago to remember.
Probably a bad reference to use there, but it's kind of the same thing. That toss, it's difficult. When you get it down, it's deadly.
2nd and 14 is where they mark it. Profit in motion again. Akins takes the snap, elects to keep again, almost falls.
Ball number 11 for a short gain.
And then he eventually scrapes the ground with his knee as he never completely was tackled. Yes. 3rd and 12 for Pittsburgh with 4:30 to go in the third quarter.
As Claiborne's kind of shaken up after the plays up, but that's a tough kid. Peyton Claiborne,
oh my goodness.
He's definitely one of the toughest guys I've ever met. And see him shaking up like that, like visibly showing it too, is not a good sign. But 3rd down and long, you know, the Grizzlies haven't been in a situation in a bit. Let's see if they can get a stop here, Jack.
No wind blowing from the south anymore. Flag hangs limp. Akins takes the snap, a bit of a misdirection, and it's Rink around the left edge. Boy, is he quick, and he scores. Touchdown, Pittsburgh Purple Dragons. Wyatt Rink is a blur around that left edge. Is John, what they do is, I know you're the color man and this is your job, but let me try a crack at it. This isn't my forte. Is they know pre-snap where that ball's going to go, obviously. On some of those plays, they're a little bit more designed than those options. They'll kind of fake some motion towards the right side, and then Rink just kind of sits, hands on his knees, and then begins motion against the grain, swims upstream, and then once he gets behind the defense, it's home free.
Yeah, when you have a playbook and you just iron out the fundamentals of it, like they did last year, and you have this veteran group, you can add those little sprinkles and stuff like that into it that we just saw. That's one of the beauties about this offense is you get an experienced group, you can do that with them.
As Coach Latimer has a lot of fun toys to play with for sure, as Pittsburgh does try a kick as their extra point, and Brown couldn't punch it through, so the score will stay Pittsburgh 38, Labette 0. We'll be back in 1 minute. This is Grizzly football.
My name is Bria, and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
Brown raises his right hand in the air wearing a black colored glove, and he points to his teammates and he's ready to boot it away, and he does so with that powerful left foot. And it's caught by Barrett Heston at the 10-yard line. He'll come to the near side, get across the 30, fall forward to the 35. Nice return there by sophomore Barrett Heston.
Yeah, so he's got a nice little frame on him, too.
Yeah.
He's put on some muscle. As you saw there, he just kind of exploded through that line. Barrett's kind of a freak athlete. I hate to say it like this, but he's kind of a freak athlete when you look at him.
That's a compliment. That's a compliment. He's a freak athlete. He is. I mean, he'll be a player this winter whose name we say a lot over the waves of our basketball broadcast. Barrett, great long jumper in cross country, and I mean a good long jumper, or in track, pardon me. Yeah, Barrett, multi-sport athlete for sure. 38-0 Purple Dragons, 3:40 third quarter. Third quarter's kind of been a drag, at least on the Grizzly Nation side of things. 1st and 10 at their own 36 is where they spotted it. The snap, it's a bit of a draw here. Is Jackson going to get it after Holtzman initially faked he was going to pass? Gain of a couple.
Tackled by...
Oh. Is there some more unsportsmanlike con?
Very delayed flag is that's going to be on Labette County, as there weren't really any white jerseys in the mix when the flag was thrown. Maybe a offensive lineman for Labette said something to the referee, because boy, he was adamant about that call.
As I think they're going to call it on the way Jamal got up with his hands up. You wonder, I don't think they would call anything on him, as I don't think he's one to do something.
Surely not.
As he's the
it is on Labette County, unsportsmanlike. So regardless of who it's unsportsmanlike on the offense. That is the Grizzlies. As Coach Price has both hands behind his back and slowly walks out near the 35-yard line, wanting an explanation, and he's getting one currently from the white hat. As there have been, I'm going to take a shot here, over-under of 6 unsportsmanlike calls, maybe 5.
Well, Jack,
I got to be close.
My memory's not that good game right now, but I think you're right around the mark, 5 or 6. And I don't think I've seen that many in a game.
A mixture of both teams, if you're just joining us, not all on Labette County.
Maybe Wellington a couple years ago, there was a bunch, but it's probably up there with that too. I mean, it's not been a very clean football game from both sides.
Let's see if Labette County can try to get back to the line of scrimmage in the next couple of plays and see if they'll go for it on 4th and 8 or so, but try to chip away from this long 2nd down and 23. Holtzman with Jackson behind him, 2 receivers right and left. Labette moving the field right to left. Here's a pass across the middle, tipped in the air, and it was intended for Lawrence Holt and hit the ground incomplete, as it was a nice cornerback play. I think it was Jaden Brown maybe on the effort, tipped it in the air, and then these white jerseys just flock around the ball, floating in the air.
Yeah, and it looked like Lawrence had a opportunity to make a play on the ball if he just came a little bit flatter, not sailed so much on the route. But I mean, I think that was the cleanest pocket we've seen so far tonight, as Kendall had time to take his drop and read and step up and make a throw.
Yeah, it was a nice pass. These corners are really nice for Pittsburgh. Very talented. Good protection again for Kendall. Checks it down to Jamal. Tries to break the second level and gets to the original line of scrimmage, and it is indeed 4th and 8.
Yes, Connor Profit, the defensive back out there, did a nice job of breaking down and making a tackle, as Jamal's not an easy guy to bring down out in open space, so nice job there by Profit.
2:50 to go in the third quarter. 4th and 8 for Labette County at their own 38. Trips left. They're going for it. One safety near the 47 of Labette. Here's the snap. It's a slant pattern caught by Phillips. Leans forward. Are they going to give it to him? And they do. First down, Labette County, in the arms of Xavier Phillips.
Yes, Kendall also had the inside guy, Lawrence, free open in the middle, but that's not what that play is designed to do. You get both those slants. Inside slant clears the way for that outside throw, outside lane to make, and Xavier, that big frame, boxing out the defender to make a nice catch on the ball.
1st and 10 Grizzlies at their own 47. Little bit of a hurry up here as Holtzman's already in the gun, taking the snap, floating it, interception. Connor Profit, second interception of the ball game, crosses midfield, gets to the Grizzly red zone, to the 15-10, gets a block 5, touchdown Pittsburgh, a pick 6, 4 turnovers for the Grizzlies on the night, and that'll take it to 44-0 with the extra point coming up. 2 minutes still to play in quarter number 3.
Yeah, that was just – Kendall wants that one back. Let's just put it that way. Kendall wants that one back. You had a smash concept on the outside. The inside guy was running a corner route, and the outside guy was running a hitch. You read the corner out there, right? So if that safety stays on the corner or the corner out, it frees up that hitch on the inside – or no, frees up that route. You put it on the outside or whatever. That corner drops like it did there. You throw the hitch. Kendall didn't see the corner drop and just threw the corner.
Yep.
I hate saying that, but that's what it was. So you got the cornerback and the corner out. It's just hard to explain.
Don't apologize for doing your job. Here's the kick for Brown. That's a pretty one, and it splits the uprights beautifully. 45-0 Pittsburgh. Like to take a quick moment and thank some of our sponsors for making our broadcast possible. Labette Community College, Forbes Hoffman Funeral Homes, Clemens Insurance Agency, Labette Health, Woodworth Enterprises, Carson Wall Funeral Homes, Commercial Bank, Eye Care Associates of Parsons, Labette Bank, SEK Orthopedics, Doctors Meister, Mosier, and Morris, the Bartlett Co-op, Labette Center for Mental Health Services, Community National Bank, Tank Connection, Wood Insurance Center, Unified School District, USD 506, the Corner Store of Altamont, and Olson Ace Hardware. Again, remind you to stay tuned after the game is over for our Bowen Pharmacy post-game show. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Grizzlies trail big at home.
Labette Community College is meeting the need for an increased demand in qualified radiographers. Our radiography students will train on the latest technology in a hospital simulation environment.
I wanted to be able to go into a career where I could help people. And if you're going to go into that field in this part of the four-state area, LCC is the only place to come.
Tuition is nearly half the cost of universities. Scholarship and financial aid available for those who qualify. Text radiography to 620-293-6671 for more information or visit labette.edu.
Brown set to kick it away after a Connor Profit pick 6. It lands at the 23, picked up in the belly of Barrett Heston. And back-to-back nice returns for Barrett as he still stays on his feet, and more extracurricular that draws another flag from the officiating crew.
I couldn't see what that one was
that didn't look like a lot to me. I think I saw what he threw the flag at, and it was just kind of a little jersey tug late after the whistle was blown. Just keep that one in your pocket.
The game, yeah, I think.
If that's what he saw.
If it's so egregious, you have to call it. But I mean, it's 45 to nothing. Kind of hold that one in, get the game moving along. It's just one of those things.
Halftime score is Parsons is actually, end of third quarter score. Parsons leads Iola at Iola 7-0.
Oh, wow.
Sorry for that informal manner there, but the PA announcer there in the other room to us asked what the score was. As evidently they can hear our voices quite clearly in there.
See, I didn't know where that voice came from. I was kind of looking around. It was like, is there someone else in the room? Was it Caleb? Couldn't quite tell, but...
As they're still discussing, as the white hat picked up the flag, raised it high in the air, and waved it. The yellow flag.
I don't understand what there is to discuss here. If you're going to pick it up, move along. I don't think this one needs an explanation. You either call it or you don't. Simple as that. I'm sure it's more complicated than that. I'm not an official. But it feels like it kind of is that simple.
As they are getting play back underway, clock runs. Play clock, that is. 1st and 10, Labette at their own 33. Holt in motion, high snap. Holtzman reaches to get it, fakes the handoff, rolls out, flips it, caught by Holt, across the 40, lowers his head, gets to the 44. Nice little play there from Coach Price.
It's a fancy little play. The way Kendall faked the handoff and spun around like he gave it and was watching it go. There's another flag.
Flag on the far side of the field.
I think are these refs being paid by the hour? It's what it feels like. Trying to stretch this game out as long as possible. Hate to be so negative, but that's what it seems like, as there seems to be laundry on the field after every single play.
It looks like the play was on the near side of the field and the flag came from the far side. So okay, that makes sense. An ineligible man downfield, as that makes sense from where the flag came from at least. So 1st down and 15 for Labette County at their own 28. So, man, yeah, this has been a slow rolling 3 minutes here in the third quarter, or from the 3-minute mark on.
As Price is out there still talking to the white hat as just blowing the whistle. I don't know if it's just going to be a dead ball and they're just going to talk about it here a little bit. I'm not sure what's going to change. I'm sure Price is just voicing his frustrations a little bit.
Sure, as you always still want to try to stand up for your guys. You know what a good head coach does. He's not going to cross the line. He's just, making his presence felt, showing his team that he cares. And I'm sure he wants an explanation as well, as that was one of Labette County's better plays of the game.
As if you're the Grizzlies, I hate to say it, you're eventually going to have to put in your younger guys. I think you got it. Fourth quarter comes around, you got to take them out. You got to take out your older guys, play the younger guys. So if you're you're just going to run your offense. You're going to find something that you can carry into next week.
As Lawrence Holt takes the direct snap off of the Wildcat. Gains a few. 2nd down and long for Labette County approaching.
Yeah, they ran the Wildcat a couple times here tonight. Maybe it added another element, another sprinkle to the offense. Maybe get some life into it. So we saw earlier it did. It had a nice little run, but it got called back for holding. It's just one of those things. It's hard to say what you can do against this defense. I mean, they've just been so outstanding tonight, with the pressure and everything else.
It is 2nd and 15 with Jackson the halfback. Holtzman takes the snap, flips it to Phillips, who makes a nice jab step, moves, gets to the outside, stiff arms a defender, and then loses the football.
I think we got
he has
it,
a teammate there. Pittsburgh thinks they have it, but Jamal Jackson was there for his wide receiver. Nice elusiveness by Phillips and good awareness from Jamal Jackson to keep it in possession of Labette County, one of their more explosive plays of the game.
Yeah, Xavier did a nice job of putting his big paw out there on the Dragons defender, kind of slapping him away to get back in. Unfortunately, he lost the ball, but great hustle by Jamal to get there to be on the ball.
37 seconds, Labette moving a little bit. Another slant pattern hits the chest plate and bounces off hard of Barrett. Heston hits himself on the helmet knowing he maybe should have had that one. Clock stops at 32 seconds.
Next play. That play's done. Move on. Whatever. It's still 2nd and 10. You've been in worse situations. Next play. Simple as that.
2nd down and 10, Labette County. Ball at their own 47 on the left hash. Lane Simmons, the center, surveys the defensive front, bends down, puts his right hand on the ball. Kendall takes the snap after one clap, gives it to Jamal, sheds one tackler, and another spins. Reaches out with the left arm as a stiff arm effect gets put in place firmly by the sophomore and is brought down near the 1st down line to gain. 3rd down and short with 13 seconds and counting.
Yeah, if you're a defender, you cannot freeze. What we saw there is, I don't know who the linebacker was. I'm just going to assume it was not Treeman Wesley, but Where's he at? I don't know. Whatever, the linebackers. You can't freeze your feet. Jamal's too explosive for that, and you saw right there, he just ran through him.
That's the end of the third quarter from Altamont. Pittsburgh 45, Labette County 0, but the Grizzlies are moving. They'll flip ends and move left to right when we return in 1 minute on KLKC Parsons.
Labette Community College is meeting the need for an increased demand in qualified radiographers. Our radiography students will train on the latest technology in a hospital simulation environment.
I wanted to be able to go into a career where I could help people. And if you're going to go into that field in this part of the four-state area, LCC is the only place to come.
Tuition is nearly half the cost of universities. Scholarship and financial aid available for those who qualify. Text radiography to 620-293-6671 for more information or visit labette.edu.
A final from Independence. Fort Scott, or I think it's in Indy. That's how it's listed on Scores in Kansas on Twitter. Fort Scott beats Independence 14-6. Low-scoring game in the SEK. Fort Scott, a very respectable opponent. Good team up north. Meanwhile, negative play for Labette County off a jet sweep to Lawrence Holt. Loss of about 6 on the play. It's 4th down and 9 for the Grizzlies. Here's the snap for Kendall. Has plenty of time, steps into it, lets it fly deep down the field, looking for Lawrence, and it's just not there as Lawrence kind of lays in a snow angel formation, staring up at the heavens, and now he slowly gets to his feet. Coach Price not happy with the junior's body language potentially, takes his headset off and gives him a shout, and that'll flip the field. It'll be Pittsburgh ball, 1st and 10 in Grizzly territory.
Yeah, if you're a receiver, you're definitely frustrated because, you feel like you had a opportunity to go make a play on the ball. The ball just happened to not be there, and it's can't let the frustrations carry over.
The Grizzly offense is still on the field, as I'm not sure if they were aware. I'm sure they were aware what down it was, but maybe there was some discussion taking place that I didn't know about because our offense stayed on the field. As there might have been an offsides that wasn't called or something of the sorts that the offense was waiting on. But they didn't call it. Pittsburgh trots onto the field, looking to crack 50 on the scoreboard. Stand firm.
Well, Jack, did you say they didn't call it? Just
right.
Try to confirm that one, because there's been a lot of laundry tonight, so. Just one of those things, playing for pride here, so Grizzly defense, you'd like to see a stop here, get some younger guys in, get them some experience.
Timeout on the field, timeout Pittsburgh.
As it is a running clock, but it will stop as Coach Latimer takes a timeout, as he'll have 2 remaining in this half. We shall return in 1 minute. Labette trails big at home.
Everybody is different. Some get injured, while others simply wear down. Whether it's on the court, on the field, or at the gym, Labette Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team has the training and skill to repair, restore, and renew. We share the same goal, and together we'll write your comeback story. For more information about Southeast Kansas' leading orthopedic and sports medicine team, go to labettehealth.com.
Sophomore running back Malcolm Riley in the game for Pittsburgh, getting a touch. Gain of about 1. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Pittsburgh. Nice to see a sophomore getting in there, getting some varsity minutes on the road. As a new quarterback as well as Pittsburgh might have just shifted in a JV squad or their next varsity lineup into the ball game, as the quarterback is Cooper Vaughn, 5'9" junior, in at quarterback for the Purple Dragons.
As
third down and 6 approaching after a short gain up the middle.
It's a weird spot from where the tackle ended up happening. I wonder if they saw a knee hit or something as he kept driving through. So maybe a lack of forward progress is what they called, which is a little bit odd, but
Vaughn under center. They haven't changed any of their formation. Still that flex bone as he takes the snap, fakes the option, pile drives up the middle, does Vaughn, and just kind of falls in a blob of white and red jerseys down near the 40. 4th down and 3. Labette County looking to make a stand on the defensive end and flip the field on Pittsburgh. But until then, we have an injured Grizzly. I couldn't see behind Michael. As on the ground for Labette County. Do you have a name on that, John?
yeah, Big Chris Stevens, the all-state defensive tackle. So that's someone you don't want to see. Hopefully it's just a cramp or something. I think that's what it is. They're holding up the leg and stretching him right now.
As we'll go ahead, and it looks like they're already going to help Chris Stevens to his feet, as I believe that it was Chris who, before that circle game, didn't practice maybe but a week or a little more as he was battling some injury throughout the summer. So it's good to see Chris get up and indeed walk off the field under his own power. Chris will still have Chris for another year. He's just a junior, 6'3", 305. Offensive and defensive lineman, plays both ways and does a great job as he's kind of limping off the field, moving up and down here, getting a sip of water now at the jug. As the refs now whistle both teams to get back in play, as no one ever called a timeout. I've always found it kind of interesting how, and it's smart, coaches use those stoppage of plays as an extra timeout, as they tend to keep their players in a huddle for as long as possible. It's pretty much an extra timeout.
Yep, it's just an added advantage of early on because a lot of cramps tend to happen at the beginning of the season, so you get a lot more time with your guys during these kind of games.
4th and 2, they say. It's a long 2. Here's a handoff up the middle, and I don't think, they might give it to him. The near judge, if they put it where the near judge below us was stepping off, it looks like they're going to get the first down. But boy, was that a nice effort inside by Labette County's Matthew Jarman.
Tackle for the Grizzlies was by Matthew Jarman.
No, we saw it looked like he was short, so they think they're going to bring out the chains.
It's going to come down to a credit card or two, as they are going to trot on the chain gang, as that did happen years ago. I remember on a Sunday or Monday night football game, it was Raiders and Cowboys. I don't know why I remembered that, but yeah, the referee had to take a debit card or a credit card, whatever, and slide it in between the nose of the football and the first down line. And they're going to say that he got it. And I remember right after the White Hat did that, before he made the call, as he was going to turn his microphone on to announce, he was just kind of grinning ear to ear, trying to hold back some laughter. I'm sure that was a first for him. 1st and 10 Pittsburgh from the 39-yard line of Labette County. 7:30 here in Altamont. Here's a handoff up the left side and tackled from underneath, and he loses the football near the 30 as the refs were blowing the whistle as if he was down. And it's recovered by Pittsburgh, I think, anyways. Nolan Arity on the tackle. That was a beautiful tackle by Nolan.
Yeah, Kagan. Yeah, it was a nice tackle by Nolan. Lifted him up in the air. Something you usually see from Nolan. He's showing a little aggression out there. But yeah, Nolan's actually been pretty good for this Grizzly defense so far. In these first 3 games, I know it hasn't come out the way he wanted to. As a senior, start off the season 1-2. But he's been a nice addition to this Grizzly defense this year.
He absolutely has. His name hasn't been really around any of those long touchdown passes from our opposing squads, as our secondary's really limited those a lot from the offenses in which we've played. Coach Latimer wants to use this time to kind of talk with this other group of guys coming in, potentially some younger, not as experienced under these lights, and he'll call a timeout and burn it with 6:37 to go in the game. Labette down 45-0. We'll be back in 30 seconds. This is Grizzly football.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the four-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
So it's a nice luxury for Latimer's team.
It was a hold on Pittsburgh. That'll back him up. Man in motion is Jet Burgess. Here's the snap, and it's blown up in the backfield. Labette County with one of their first true negative plays defensively upon this Purple Dragon offense.
As Big Chris got through there in a hurry and made a nice play, as I'm sure he's kind of frustrated with how this one has turned out, as he's been kind of quiet tonight, you know. All-state defensive lineman, the Dragons have definitely schemed for him, and it's been effective.
Second down and 15, 3:45 in the ball game. Pittsburgh up 45-0 on our Grizzlies. Here's the snap, and it's met in the backfield again. It's popped into the air and picked up by Labette County. Bradley Black off to the races, and it's going to be a 75-yard scoop and score for Bradley Black and the Labette County defense. What do you know it? The defense is the first team to pound it in for 6 for the LC Grizzlies.
That's going to be a play he's going to remember for a very long time. They got back there, kind of held him up, and then the ball squirted through, and Rattle came running in, caught on the run, and no one was going to catch him as he was zooming down the field. So nice play there for Bradley, as he's one of those gritty guys, all right? He's weight room warriors, a nice culture piece for this Grizzly team.
Absolutely. Bradley's one of those guys who's we've seen his name on the roster the last couple years, but we haven't said his name a lot. He's been patient in the system behind some of these talented guys in front of him, and it's good to see him finding some production and a taste of success in terms of pounding it into the end zone off of a defensive turnover forced by the Grizzlies. Here's the point after attempt, blocked and no good. It'll be blown dead. Manny Ramirez, the field goal kicker, freshman for Labette County, so the future is bright with Jones and Ramirez kicking for the Grizzlies. But that does put 6 on the board for Labette. 45-6 is the score. Bradley Black on it was like a 73-yard touchdown. I don't know if that would be, I think, a fumble, because he went to hand it off, right, and then he got hit, popped in the air. The ball never hit the ground. But I called it a scoop and score anyways. But, yeah, that was so fun to watch. It's good to see Labette just put points on the board, as I know that it's not going to make a difference in the outcome or the feeling in the locker room or the opinions of the coaches, et cetera, but it's just fun. That's what it's about. It's fun to see Black get in there and have one of those runs that you said he'll remember forever.
Yeah, I mean, he's not been a guy who's played a lot. He's finally getting a chance this year. He dropped a big interception last week he wished he could have back. It's nice to see him get something like this go his way this week. As you wonder if we're going to start to see a second-team offense come out here. I'm sure they'll keep the special teams the same, but
we've had another cell phone turned in to the press box.
I don't know what's.
The clock is running, 60 seconds and counting. These teams just kind of taking their time, letting this game kind of come to an end, as I will try to refresh scores in Kansas and get some final scores from around the area. I did mention that Fort Scott beat Independence 14-6. Another one that some SEK fans might like to know, Colgan beat Riverton 35-0. That one is locked in and final. Manny Ramirez set to kick it off, stepping off his steps, teed up at the middle on the orange tee. Pittsburgh sideline ready to jump in victorious celebration as they're jumping up and down as Ramirez kicks it. And it's fielded by Pittsburgh at the 35-yard line, fallen on by Tanner Ramage. Ramage had that nice run moments ago. As that'll run it down and sound the siren here at Lucas Field as these teams are going to get ready to line up and shake each other's hands. Pittsburgh will beat Labette County 45-6. Labette will fall to 1-2 on the season. Pittsburgh to 2-1, and next week Labette County will go to Wellington to take on the Crusaders next Friday night. So now you got to go in the locker room, regroup, have another good week of practice, and then travel some odd 2 hours to Wellington and take on a team that's always been stingy, but they've always been good games against our Grizzlies. 45-6 is the final. Bowen Pharmacy postgame show coming up in 3 minutes on KLKC Parsons.
My name is Bria and I'm a pharmacist at Bowen Pharmacy. I'm here today to tell you about one of our patient programs, Meds to Beds. Bowen Pharmacy South is located in the medical office building at Labette Health. Our staff works closely with the doctors, nurses, and social care workers to ensure that your transition out of the hospital is an easier and more convenient experience for you and your loved ones. If you are having inpatient or outpatient surgery, we will get your medications directly from your doctor and deliver them right to your hospital bed. If you are having a baby, we will get your medications or anything else that you may need to get your family home without the hassle of making several stops along the way. Whether you're here for a few hours or a few days, we are here at Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South to help get you well without any interruption in transition of care. Just ask for Meds to Beds. At Bowen Pharmacy and Bowen Pharmacy South, we are here for you today and we are here for you tomorrow.
Everybody is different. Some get injured, while others simply wear down. Whether it's on the court, on the field, or at the gym, Labette Health's orthopedic and sports medicine team has the training and skill to repair, restore, and renew. We share the same goal, and together we'll write your comeback story. For more information about Southeast Kansas' leading orthopedic and sports medicine team, go to labettehealth.com.
With many years of combined experience, Eye Care Associates of Parsons has set the framework in providing comprehensive eye health examinations for all ages and routine vision care for families throughout the four-state area. Our optometrists and staff provide remarkable care with state-of-the-art technology to help with diagnosis and management of eye health conditions. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your next eye exam. Eye Care Associates of Parsons. Experience modern eye care.
V93.5 is your home for the best variety of the 80s, 90s, and today. Get your day started with the Anna and Raven Morning Show. You're the judge during couples court. Couples share their disagreement, and then you decide who's right. Think you know pop culture trivia? It could pay off, and you score the cash jackpot when you play Can't Beat Raven. Kraus in the house gets you home every weekday afternoon starting at 2. Stream us anytime, anywhere at klkcradio.com.
Welcome in, Grizzly fans, to the Bowen Pharmacy postgame show. Jack Leake and John Kohler with you. Labette falls to 1-2 on the season after a thumping at home in Week 3 tonight, 45-6 to the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons. John, we need to start making a better effort to get some stats in our fingers for the postgame show, but I'm not sure if we'd want to see them tonight. Labette County did turn the ball over 4 times. I believe they were all interceptions thrown by Labette. 2 of them tipped by our own receiver, popped in the air, and then intercepted. So people know how those go. But, man, Pittsburgh just does Pittsburgh stuff, John. They just do. This is a team much better than I gave them credit for. Really well-ran, well-oiled machine. A lot of flags in tonight's game, but they really play fairly mistake-free football due to other than some mishandled option pitches and different things. But boy, do those kids know where to go and know how to do what they do.
Yeah, I mean, they run. You can come up with as many fancy plays and stuff as you want, but if you don't execute well like Pittsburgh did tonight, then it's tough to score. And you saw Pittsburgh, they executed it well. It's all you got to do to win ball games. I mean, you execute well your plays and stuff, you're going to get good gains and stuff like that.
As the protection for Kendall in the second half, I felt like was better.
Yes.
The offensive line was a lot better in the second half, giving Kendall time and even a pocket. In some of those instances, Pittsburgh would blitz a couple middle linebackers rather, and they'd hold and give Kendall, you're not going to hold against a blitz, but you can hold long enough.
Yeah.
And they did. Some of that timing was just off just a touch, and I understand these are long, hard throws, but there were a couple to Lawrence Holt that were very well covered, I will open by saying, but they could have maybe been there. And it was just off by a touch tonight. So we've seen a few different versions of these Grizzlies. Week one, high-flying, those long breadbasket rainbow passes were dropping, and things were just popping. They had to come back from down 15 in the second half. Then you go to Parsons and get kind of a mixture of tonight and the circle game. You open up, you go score, and then you kind of die off a little. Tonight was just kind of an egg laid, but against a really good Pittsburgh team. John, how do you rally? Have a good week of practice and then go face Wellington 2.5 hours on the road next Friday.
Yeah, the bright side is it's not a league opponent. You're still
Sure.
0-0 in SEK
Sure.
play. League championship's still there. Now you just got to build off it, right? You talk about this game a little bit, right? The struggles you guys face, the run defense, things like that. Then you got to go get ready for Wellington next week, right? So you got to go 1-0 each day. Just forget about this game. You take what you can from it, move on. Can't dwell on something like this. Just got to move on and get ready for Wellington.
As Labette County will travel to Wellington next week, and then is whenever things start to kind of get fun, as they will round out the season with all four of their SEK games, as there are only 5 teams in the SEK in football. That's Labette County, Fort Scott, Coffeyville, Indy, and Chanute. So the games that, if you want to call truly matter, not saying they didn't think this one mattered, but you get what I mean, SEK League games start on Friday, September 29th, after the Wellington game next week, but don't brush over that. That'll be a good competitive game. Tune in for that Tank Connection pregame show at 6:30 p.m. next Friday night. And then we host Fort Scott, go to Coffeyville into October, and we go to Independence and host Chanute senior night to close out the season against the highly talented Blue Comet squad on Friday, October 20th to close out the regular season. So fun times ahead for us on the road and at home for these Grizzlies. But tonight they just took one on the chin, and I know this group is tough mentally, and they'll rally, and the coaches will get them going. Labette falls 45-6. Thanks for listening, Grizzly Nation, to tonight's Bowen Pharmacy postgame show, as well as the broadcast as a whole. Jack Leake, John Kohler, and Caleb McKee, the production team this evening. Big thank you to Wayne Gilmore and Amanda back at the station for making our jobs possible. Have a great night, Grizzly fans, and as always, God bless.